What's up, guys? It is time for this fourth day of the regional qualifiers to come straight to the screens here. Of course, we are heading straight into our southern region qualifiers. With me on the desk once again is going to be none other than Mr. Dale. How are you doing today?
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, DK, thank you so much for having me again here at the IAGC Southern Region. Oh, man, this is going to be exciting. We got a hungry lineup for you tonight, so I can't wait for the action to begin, man. I'm excited.
Yep, and it's going to be quite exciting indeed to see what these teams are going to be bringing through right here on the IAGC, as you've mentioned. And that, of course, is in partnership with the Republic of Benin and Nice Cactus, who are joining forces to offer multi-territory gaming tournaments to esports players from all over the African region. Now, of course, we know, as per usual, our top 3 teams from today will be qualifying through in towards the continental finals, with the first place team for today walking away with $500, second place being awarded $300, and of course that third place picking up a very comfy $200 as well. And of course, with regards to the teams, we've got quite a few teams from the southern region stepping on through. We got teams like EFX, we've got King Esports, we've got Blackjack, RILA Insider, METAFORCE, G3 Temper, just to name a few. Of course, we'll be looking at the rest of the teams once we get into our very first match. And of course, as per usual, we are going to be sticking to our normal trend here with the stuff, as we can see, starting over on towards Erangel, heading over on towards Murmur, followed up by a little bit of that Sanok action before returning back on towards Erangel once again to wrap up this evening's festivities, right? If we can put it that way. But of course, speaking about festivities, Dale, we are going to get ready to make our way over in it towards our very first match. And of course, as we can see, we've got our lineup of the teams right on there. As we've mentioned before, it's going to be EFX, King Esports, Blackjack, as well as RILA Insider, METAFORCE, G3. We got Black Cobra, Void Club, Limbo Esports, KURD 12 MENA. We got the players there from 8R also making an appearance, as well as NEXUS. We got G3, Hungry for Kills, as well as Psycho, Mr. Unknowns. We got GRIMMCITY, and then, of course, Endgame. And a very exciting, or interesting rather, flight path to start us off with, as we can see it being situated a little bit further down on towards that southern side. So I'm curious to see what the teams are going to be doing with this initial start to the flight path.
That's right. So what an unusual but exciting flight path. It takes away a little bit of the predictability we guys are normally used to landing. So it takes out majority of the northern half for the guys to jump. But I'm sure we'll see some action within the central and cut region, moving all the way from hospital to Gatka. So it will be nice, but this is exactly what makes this game interesting. And just coming back to some of the names that you mentioned, many of my favorite teams personally is showing tonight, but I cannot choose one. This is exactly where the action is going to be brought, and I can't wait to see it, man. And look at that. Look at what this circle decides to do as well. It makes it even more interesting.
Yeah, already quite the favorable position there for G3 to start it off with, right? As we know, they like to frequent up on towards that eastern bridge, as well as a little bit of that farm action as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to be looking to potentially defend that position. But we do see a nice concentration of teams actually heading further up on towards that northern position. And we do have a little bit of tension potentially starting to brew over on towards that kind of multi-power region, as we can see the players there from METAFORCE, as well as Citizens, also now just situated on towards that edge there. But it's interesting to see the players there from Citizens, because the name that I've got on my screen here says Limbo. So maybe Citizens have taken us into a little bit of a limbo play there, right? As we don't know with 100% certainty what the kind of situation is. But of course, speaking about situations, right, we do have a little bit of that, PUBG TA going on right here, as we do see the players from EFX as well as Blackjack now just racing across the open fields, looking to get themselves situated in towards those compounds. Of course, EFX, as we can see currently on the screen, making a bit of a run for that bridge, and we could even potentially see them rotating all the way up on towards Saverny. So a very lengthy rotation coming through here from them.
That's right. So EFX normally goes for the longer gameplay, but since the circle decided to move more closer to home, they're going to jump off onto that Saverny action, or at least close to it, at least. But trying to do the GTA action, get as many vehicles in there so they can move as fast as possible. But BJE was not too far behind. But let's see action they can bring, and it's going to make things a little bit more tenuous as it goes along. There's not much looting going on as we're taking a look at Cobra Philly, who's hiding behind the bushes, just to make sure that he got some cover and meet up with the rest of his team. Good luck to him.
Yep, Cobra already losing one of their players to none other than EFX, who we were just watching mere moments ago, as we can see Besha already getting taken right on down. It is now up to Garrick, Slash, and Philly to try and kind of hold up the fort there for the rest of the squad. But again, now teams still looking to disperse themselves all across this map as much as they can. But again, we do see actually quite a few teams, looking to start to venture a little bit further outwards, potentially aiming to even get themselves situated outside of the zone, with Philly, of course, now just showing off there with a few of those vehicle tricks as well. As we can see, the team's still busy with their migration, right? If we can call it that, all the way over on towards that western side. So we've got the players, they're from G3, Hungry for Kills. So I'm just going to call them Hungry for Kills, and the other one we'll call Temper, because those are the names that we usually go for. So Hungry for Kills, they're going to be looking to start their process all the way over in towards that far western edge, as we can see, held up in towards that South George. Meanwhile, we do see the players, I believe that's from NEXUS, actually coming through with a few engagements, also just hammering away on that very edge of the zone. So we are going to be trying to take a quick bit of a jump in that direction to see if anything is going to come through from these engagements that we've been seeing so far. But aside from, the one or two eliminations trickling in through that feed, we haven't really seen much else yet, and that's kind of to be expected, right? The teams going through the looting phase, looking to get themselves set up before, really turning their focus onto getting into any aggressive kind of situations.
Spot on, man. It's game number 1, which is really important. So trying to find yourself in a nice position, at least within or close to the zone, not to be kept is important. Getting as much loot as you can possibly towards the action phase of the match is really important. So this is exactly what these guys need to do. Trying to avoid any battles on the outside of the range so that they can stay in and get that placement. But action is exactly what we're trying to avoid for now, at least in the first stage. NEXUS is a team that I've been keeping a close eye out on. It's a team to be reckoned with the aggressive play, nice spread. The tactics that they use can also put teams at a disadvantage because they know how to hold the fort.
Well, I mean, they can hold the fort as long as they don't forfeit it, right? I know that was super lame, but whatever. I mean, that's the only way. Like, I gotta put in a disclaimer. I don't test these things out in advance before I say them. They kind of just happen.
No. None of us do, man.
So it's just one of those things that kind of just happens. Some of them are a little bit cringy, like the one we just heard. I even felt the cringy on my side. So that's how you know that's a little bit on the intense side. But aside from that, things are looking quite decent with regards to the team's positioning in and across this map. And what I actually noticed was the players coming through there from, I believe it's METAFORCE, if I'm not mistaken.
METAFORCE.
They have, well, an extra player in the lobby. I mean, that is FXB, well, FX Broken, if we can call it that. But we also now do see a few other eliminations coming in, as well as the players there from Endgame getting into the early game and potentially looking to bring a few other teams into their early endgame.
That's right. So KURD 12 right now, getting into 12, sending them back to the lobby nice and early. So getting into the action at the stage that I said mainly would not be the best time to get it as you lose position. We have End Zero here from the End team, or from the End game, pardon me. One of my favorite movies, just so by the way, with a little snap of a finger, pulling some Thanos moves, nice rotation. And look, we have an in-game squad that can do a nice rotation on the K12 team, but just trying to avoid to be third-partied from the extra METAFORCE guy on the outs. Is that the extra one? Not entirely sure now.
Yep. The blue one, if you see blue, if you see blue, that's that's not where you want to be, as we can see you now getting taken right on down there, as we did have FX Broken just swinging through with a few hits there. So not quite sure what's going to be happening on that front. We got Ayed, I guess, just now on that front line, looking to bring in a little bit of that fortification. But this is where things are looking a little bit worrying now for the players here from Endgame, because not only do they have that, that Lone Ranger to worry about, but they also still have the players there from KURD 12 just holding a little bit further down towards the southern position of them. So curious to see what's going to come through, at least on this position up in towards the north western side, close to Everest. But it does seem like Ayed is going to try, and not even try. They are going to succeed in picking up that elimination. And now they can tend to their wounded, like looking to get you back into the match, and of course back onto their feet so they can continue on with their rotations. We can see Blue Zone is starting to make its way on through. I'm not quite sure where Aid is going with that. Instead of moving straight into the res, just doing a little bit of a dance around to see if they can get anything situated or potential angles lined up. But of course, all we know is that the blue zone is going to be catching up with them. And of course, speaking about the
Yeah.
zone, it's going to be the players coming through here from Temper, now situated in their tried and tested position. We got Watson peeking the balcony, keeping a very watchful eye on Wizard and the rest of the players from, the actual METAFORCE team. As we can see, we got
That's right, the
Wizard
real
and
one.
Cloud position just up ahead. But it's nice to have a little bit of excitement coming through in these early stages.
Yeah, that's right. So we had a little bit of a surprise from the extra METAFORCE player that's in there, but he was nicely dealt with and sent back to the lobby. Now looking at G3, this is home ground for them. So they're very familiar with the area and they know how to stand and obviously face whatever challenges comes ahead of them. Looking at METAFORCE, just on the outside, we have Watson here, just making sure that Flacco got cover on the rotation. I do not see the regular recon player, but okay, maybe this is the best place to be right now. And holding it down would be the entire G3 squad, right?
Yep, that is indeed what we are seeing right here. As we can see, of course, that map taking a little bit of a swing, still sticking on towards that coastal region, as we still have Watson here from G3 also positioned relatively close to that coastal line, keeping a very watchful eye.
Yeah.
But of course, now we are going to be just waiting for everything to load up in the background so we can hop across straight into the engagement that we did see coming through there from the players from Limbo, aka Citizens. Maybe it's the Citizens Limbo. I don't know. We'll go for that, whichever one you want to call it.
I'm still a little limbo about it, but look, Citizens not a team to be foiled with either, if it is really them. But so I'm a little confused as to what is going on, but we'll run with it. If it says Citizens, we'll do it.
Yeah.
They just better sign their visa application on game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, they can be citizens from wherever they choose to be. I don't really mind too much, right? Be that Erangel, Sanok, Miramar. Maybe it's the citizens from Vikendi, right? That's why we don't really know who it is, right? Because we haven't seen much of Vikendi actually being played, on any competitive level for quite some time now. So I think that's exactly where they're from. That is where they have their citizenship. So that explains quite a bit.
It could be citizens from Wakanda, a map that doesn't exist too. Like I say.
Yeah, or that.
Okay,
right?
so we have, yeah. Hey, PUBG, let's see if we can get a Wakanda map sorted out. But as the action is happening right now, one of their teammates in trouble, but sending it all the way is Hussam, all the way over to Hog there on the other side, on the outside of the low-lying ridge. Can he take full advantage using the K and see if he can get a little headshot on him, but not making it all too easy with that swivel action?
Well, I mean, the Mosin is definitely proving to be a little bit challenging, at least in the hands here of Hussam. But, Hussam trying to hold some angles there. Of course, if we jump over on towards Nagato, we can see Nagato now just ripping apart here, just swinging through with the hits. Of course, I do believe these are the Blood Brothers, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that is what the 8R stands for. It's actually a very well-hidden B. So it's the Blood Brothers, but here we see those nades now getting cooked up. Nagato getting traded on down, and now it's going to be up to Hussam and Matador now to try and keep up the defenses here. We do see Hussam on quite some distance away. Up comes Matador, just rushing straight on forward. No red cape even required here, as Matador is just pushing straight on through, looking to dial up the aggression. Already 2 knocks in on the players there from the Limbo Citizens. But let's see what they're going to be bringing through. As 007 is now just looking to get themselves up on towards this vehicle.
Yeah, but there was an excellent aggressive push there from the brothers, it was an excellent push from them. That little sacrifice with cooking that pineapple actually worked out pretty well in order to save the rest of his team. So, but now we have the other citizen member moving along, seeing if he can get a rotation, or he could be bailing, which would probably be the best so they can get out of that little action that they were just in.
Yeah, well, who knows, right? Only time will tell us what exactly they have in store for us. And of course, on that, we'd love to hear what the viewers are thinking. Who do you think is going to be the team to clutch it out in this very first match of the day, heading straight on through towards that third phase? As we currently find ourselves near the end of the second phase, we can see several teams now starting to converge down in towards that more centered kind of position.
Yeah.
With 007 going in for, what 007 does. You don't really often see 007, working with anyone else. maybe a bird here and there, right? You can translate
Yeah,
that
that's right.
however you want. And of course, as you can see, our good friend here, 007, does indeed have a little birdie on their shoulder. So, that actually fits in
Yeah.
quite nicely with what you would expect to see from 007. Of course, now we're just going to be waiting for, that Super Lani vehicle to come in as well.
That's right. So, being the man of mystery that we all can expect, he is the Lone Ranger. It was an overwhelming attack on the remaining citizens' teams who's back to the lobby. That's Hog 11 and is that Guardia? Yeah, that is back to the lobby. So, doing the right thing for his team's sake, looking at the bigger picture, try and get some placement. And yeah, just trying to make it safe. Just moving away from that little bit of aggression from the squad that dealt with the rest of the squad.
Ooh, but look at that though. I mean, we did see Trip coming through with a good amount of damage being dealt there, but essentially it was the players from the side there of Blackjack just hammering that one home, coming in with a nice bit of a trade there, picking up a few of those elims along the way. We also do have a little bit of an engagement happening over on towards that edge of the zone with the players they're from, Psycho, Mr. Unknowns, now finding themselves in a little bit of a predicament. And it's going to be up to Master and No Use to try and put, whatever weapons they still have left to some good use. As we can see, it is going to be V2K now, just looking for some change. I think they dropped it on the ground. Oh, no, never mind. They can come back to try and find it at a later date. But of course, as we can see, the rest of the team now still trying to hold on. I'm quite sure what's up with Master. Ooh, Master is AFK, held up in towards Pachinki, so it's now down to No Use to try and make something come from this current predicament they find themselves in. But of course, we are just going to be cycling through our players to see where the next little bit of action is going to be boiling over from, as we still have, 14 teams left, as well as 45 players trying to get themselves situated. Well, at essentially -1, as we did see, Master.
Poor Master.
Not really being there. So we're essentially sitting on 44 players. But as we can see, that position coming through on towards the zone itself. A few players still situated on those outlying regions. As we can see, of course, there's going to be No Use down in the drink trying to swim in through from that western side with the players there from KURD 12. MENA also holding just up on towards that edge position. But again, a beautiful convergence coming in as the teams continue their efforts to get themselves situated up in towards that center zone.
Yeah, that's right. So things are getting a little scary now as it's going to be really congested in the farm area with most of the OP teams that is coming in. So you could see that the Psycho squad, we have No Use, who should be named Aquaman right now. Avoid dealing with them nice and swiftly. Unfortunately, Master decided to log out of our landline. So, but yeah, it's about to get congested with INS Trip trying to hold the fort still within the central zone of the zone, as BJE is just on the outside. Another team not to be messed around with. I'm sure you're pretty familiar with him as well, DK.
Yeah, but I mean, especially when the blue drone starts coming on in, that's when I would be really worried, right? Because, I've seen the blue zone, but the blue drone, that is, next level, right?
That's right, it's a new one.
Oh, man, I think that could just be super devastating. And speaking about devastation, it is going to be the teams now looking to hammer a few of those blows home, as we do see RILA Insider, Trip here, keeping a very watchful eye still on the players coming through there from Black Cobra. And also now we do see Cloud, having a little bit of that, what's the word? Precipitation? The rain. Fancy way of saying rain.
Precipitation. Yes. Precipitation.
That one, right? So English is not my strong point. It's my second language, so I'll just blame it on that. But whatever.
Apparently not mine too, with my Blue Jones and stuff going on tonight. But this is exactly with the action in the southern region, man. It makes me speak Old South. It brings the South out of me.
Oh my goodness, man. We're just going to be sitting here looking to see who is going to be coming in from which direction and, where those hits are going to be dealt from. Of course, as we know, the teams are still looking to make a bit of a player, looking for those openings. And I'm actually curious to see, what everyone's going to be looking to bring on through, right? Still, it is a little bit more of a cautious approach, cautious play being brought in here. We do see, however, Mr. Cloud here looking to rain down with a little bit of that lead on towards the players there from BJE, who we have not too far off from the current position. But now it comes down to where this next phase is going to be taking us, because we know the zone has taken a little bit of a swing, just moving slightly over on towards that northeastern position. And still, Meta finding themselves in a good potential setup. Cloud definitely holding on to that anchor point, with the rest of the squad still to rotate on through. And this is where Ghost, Dark Ghost, Chiro, Dark Ghost and Wizard are yet to rotate up and look to kind of fortify the position that we have here for Cloud and Chiro situated up in towards this current zone. You can see Chiro now just also trying to explore their options a little bit more. But again, looking at where the teams currently are situated, we still have a few teams on that slight off angle over on towards the western side. So that's going to be the players there from Void, as well as, hungry for kills, looking to push in from that position. If we look over on towards the eastern side, everyone is pretty close to the safe zone. But, nothing is for certain just yet. Everyone still has to try and get themselves situated. Still going to be looking to rotate on through, and it probably helps if I show the map. Otherwise, I'm, just a big something sitting here talking to myself, pointing out things that no one other than me can see. So that's always great, whatever. But it's there. Now you all can see the map. I'll show you the western side again that I was talking about. Nothing happening there. This other side.
No, you painted. I think you painted the picture pretty perfectly. So I was also on that. But look, the teams that you mentioned that's far on the outside, on the western side, doesn't have too much of the blue zone pressure coming in. I think they're doing it in a nice, patient way. I wouldn't say that maybe moving in too hard and too aggressive would be the best choice right now for any team.
Yeah, you definitely want to play it as well calculated as you can. And of course, now speaking about those calculations coming through, it is going to be Superior caught up in the compound, taking a few of those hits as they are sent across there at the hand of the players coming through from Endgame. So a great show of aggression coming in as Endgame are trying to kind of force their own rotation, their own push, moving a little bit further afield. But we can see the players there from Nexus also now just quickly dashing on in, getting caught out in the open. The hits are just flying on through. It is going to be Wiggo to deal that first blow, just playing it all the way from this compound, looking to pick up the next blow on towards AK. But with that, it is going to be a little bit of that retaliation now being brought in, as the players there from EFX are not going to let any of that slide in. Instead, they step up and steal those eliminations from Endgame.
Yeah, EFX just takes it, man. So Wicco nearly losing his number there, got picked. And EFX taking full advantage of that. Nexus being a dangerous squad, one of the squads you want to get out of there. And that's exactly what's about to happen to them, as one of the most dangerous players I saw just left back into the lobby.
Yeah, it's good night, goodbye, at least for now in this first match. And with that, of course, we look onto the players here from Nexus who are down to their final contender. It is going to be Bucky, just shooting at the Bucky. Already we can see the vehicle coming out of the factory with quite a few holes in it, thanks to the lovely skin there. A little bit of that, cheesy action happening as well.
Holy cheese.
But of course, we know that the players are now going to continue to try and just fortify whichever positions they can find any decent angles to play from. It is, of course, still the players from Meta held up in their compound, not finding the exact opening that they've been hoping for, but up comes a little bit of a rush there. We're also going to be looking across over on towards the players there for Hungry for Kills, as we are yet to see the performance come in, but it is also then going to be Sully now just picking up the final player of Nexus, having them pack their bags and make their way back towards that lobby once more. And of course, EFX down to 3. There are Mercury now starting to boil over a slight tad, but we see the players there from RILA and Cider also now just held up in a little bit of a predicament themselves. We've got the players there from Black Cobra and just the building next door. The shots are flying in as Zeke is taking these hits. It's going to be up to Trip and Zeke to try and keep it all together, as these rushes are definitely starting to pile on through, and the pressure is going to be on. Looking to see who will be able to hold on. It is going to be Zeke getting taken right on down. And now it all turns to Trip to try and keep it all together for the well-being, the longevity of the team here.
Yeah, that's right. So if you want any player to be remaining so that they can clutch against a dangerous team, it would be Trip to hold it down. But I don't think there's any chance left for Coco, Zeke, or the rest of the INS squad that's still remaining, as Flash is sending them all the way back to the lobby. So it's up to Trip right now. If he does a smart decision, try and move up and gain that position. Because, that was rather difficult. Surprisingly, holding that fort a little bit too long, allowing the rush to come in and not holding it down the way they should have, unfortunately, back to the lobby.
Yeah, well, we're going to see a lot of that unfortunate play coming through as the teams now continue to rush their way on forward. And speaking about teams rushing forward, it is going to be players here from Hungry for Kills now just looking to push in on that southern position, or rather up north. Got my compasses crossed up, but here we are. The shots now starting to rain on down as we can see Blaze and the rest of the team now just trying to hunker themselves into a good position, trying to utilize the terrain. But again, the terrain is going to take a little bit of a shift. We see the players here from EFX also now still positioned down on towards that southern end, turning their attention down on towards the players there from Black Cobra, as we can see a little bit of that flash now getting snuffed on down.
There we go.
Meanwhile, it is going to be the players here from KURD 12, patiently waiting to see what will come through from Hungry for Kills, whether or not they are in fact going to be pushing on forward as they now start to take aim in all directions, just looking to close it up. Mercury and the rest of the squad also still going to be looking to find their own entry point. Meanwhile, the players from Blackjack, they've been positioned at a good, strong angle moving through these phases for at least the last two rounds. But now they do find themselves right on the very edge of it, still having a little bit of a compound to try and fight from. And I actually like this because it provides them with a great vantage point to reach into that zone while still having a little bit of that security on the very edge.
That's right. So they got the security. They hunkered themselves perfectly. A nice, phenomenal decision that they made. It doesn't put them under too much pressure as you have squads surrounding them both on the west and eastern side. So they have to move into the lobby soon enough. But the team that's actually holding down our H4K squad there on the opposite side is the Lizard from K12, surprisingly keeping them at bay. The G3 or H4K G3 has been rather quiet in comparison. So I think they've also taken the silent approach, trying to get that placement, not really focused too much on the eliminations.
Yeah, well, of course, not even, the lovely emulators here want to work with us today. So we are down to only one. I love it when they start bombing out like this. Technology is your friend. If anyone says anything else, they're lying. You just saw it live here on screen. But of course, now it is going to be our team still looking to face off, looking to close it up. So you can see the players here from Blackjack now putting a lot of pressure onto the team there from G3 Tempo. We're trying to push in from that southern position. I'm going to try and jump over to G3 to see what the situation is. But of course, our friends here over on Blackjack just doing a lot of scanning, which is making the clicking quite challenging. But of course, as we can see, G3, they've been having an absolutely phenomenal performance so far, sitting on 11 eliminations to their name. So definitely a good day at the bank for them.
That's right. So going all the way, pulling the tempers, making it nice and high, coming into at least within the top 4 right now with 15 players still remaining, holding it down. So the battle might be between BJE and G3. I don't know. Looking exactly where they're placed right now, they have a little bit of advantage with the ridge line. K12 still in the outside there, as well as the Hungry for Kills G3 squad. So it's very, very, very nerve-wracking, man.
Yeah, it is, especially now sitting with only 4 teams left in the lobby, as we can see down on the field below. And this is where things are going to get quite challenging, as we do have a little bit of that knock action coming straight through onto players from KURD 12. So that first hit making some really good connections there. We do see Phoenix now also just trying to play a little bit on that offensive line, getting the vehicles situated a little bit closer. They want to try and potentially gatekeep any of these other teams still to push on through, as we can see Hungry for Kills now also coming through with a little bit of a rush play there, looking for those openings now, looking to farm those eliminations. And of course, with that, it is going to be just pure insanity unfolding on the screen once again.
That's crazy.
As everyone is now just hitting it home. They want to lock in that winner chicken dinner.
Yeah, that's right. So look at that. We had some roadkill action there on the outside with the G3 players running over the KURD 12 squad. Now we have BJE facing at the last 2. Going, what is this? 4-4? Yeah, Phoenix getting taken down right now by 6 gone. Who can take this as Zane does a little bit of a rotation at 6-1, lays low, trying to hold the 4 down for the rest of the squad. Sitting now on 14 eliminations, DK. I lost my tongue. Where'd it go?
Out the door, right? That left back to the lobby. I think it went out in 17th place. Seeing that it's just such a jam-packed lobby. Everyone just looking to hammer a few of these elims. But I mean, looking at the performance coming through from the players here of G3 so far, they've been having an absolutely phenomenal run so far, sitting on 14 elims. Right. It is MG now getting knocked right on down. We, of
Oh,
course, are down to the last 3 remaining hopefuls now on the side here of Blackjack, looking to see what they can bring to the table. As Phoenix now just riding that edge. Zane also now getting traded on down. Up comes to Reverb, down on super low health bars. But we can see the rest of the players coming through here from the G3 side now, just trying to keep it super cautious, super contentious. Up comes that rush. The hits come through with that is going to be Flacco.
Here we
They get
go.
traded right on down. Phoenix steps on up, but it's not going to be enough as G3 picks up that winner chicken dinner with that. Also then walking away with 18 eliminations, as we can see there, alongside the 15 points they get for placing first. And of course, the players from Blackjack coming into that second position, finishing on their own 3 eliminations. We got the G3 Hungry for Kills team taking third place with 3 elims. Then, of course, we got the team from KURD 12 MENA up in fourth place with 3 elims as well. EFX over in fifth with 8. And, of course, we got the players then from Meta right there, as well as COBRA. We've got RILA Insider. We got NEXUS. We've got Endgame. Also, then the players from Void coming on through. We have the team there from Psycho, Mr. Unknowns, as well as the Blood Brothers, or 8R, whichever you want to go for, but it's usually Blood Brothers. And then, of course, if we look on to slot 14, it is Limbo Esports, aka Citizens. So, you know, a nice little bit of a confusion coming through there. And then, of course, we got the players there from GRIMMCITY, as well as our Lone Ranger. They're broken. Not quite sure what the case was, what happened there, but either which way, that is what it is. And our stars of the match are none other than Watson, picking up an absolutely beautiful run there. Not quite sure who the rest of the stuff went to, but let's just do this and it makes a little bit more sense. We can see Wicco also now then picking up our best companion slot there, coming in with those 2 revives. And of course, it is going to be Watson also to land the final blow to close off the match. And with that, lock in that winner chicken for G3.
Yeah, that was amazing, man. What a phenomenal match that was played like now. We couldn't have asked for a better start. Yeah, at the angle. That was juicy. That was juicy. It was hot. I lost my tongue somewhere in the 17th round. But that's exactly what we could expect here in the southern of our IAGC, man.
Yeah, I mean, some hot, sweaty action coming through right out of the gate on that very, very first match. And of course, as we know, we still have 3 more to come. Next up, we are going to be heading over into a little bit of that Miramar action. But of course, right after the break, we'll be back with our match results to see how many points these teams were able to secure in this very first game. As we know, it was a slightly elimination-heavy performance coming through from several of these teams. So curious to see what that point situation is going to be. But of course, we'll be seeing what exactly it is right after the break. So be sure to not go anywhere. Hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't done so already. And of course, we'll see you guys right back after the break.
Yeah, let's get it.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're getting ready to roll into the action over on towards Miramar, but of course, in true fashion, we are going to be heading into our match standings to see where the teams find themselves after a very exciting first match coming on through. And of course, if we look and see, we can see the players there from G3 Temper up in pole position on 33 points, dropping a beautiful bomb on us, almost breaking 20 eliminations in that very first match. Of course, the players there from Blackjack taking second on 15. Team EFX actually closing up the gap. Even though they took fifth place, they still walked away with 8 eliminations, securing themselves a beautiful 14 total points. The players there from G3 Hungry for Kills sitting on 13. And then, of course, we can see the players there from KURD 12 MENA sitting up in towards that fifth position. But of course, we also have to take a very quick look to see what that second page situation is as well. As we move into that, we can see the players there from Void Club, the Blood Brothers, NEXUS, Endgame, Psycho, King Esports, Limbo Esports, as well as GRIMMCITY. So a very surprising kind of finish coming through for the players there, at least from the side of Limbo, aka Citizens, as we don't really know which name to go by. But you know what? Whichever one it is they give us, that's the one we're going to go for, seeing that we are also now going to be hopping across into a little bit of that plain and simple action, right? Of course, we can see the lovely Miramar position just down below. And now as we make our way on through, we can see the flight path coming in there from Puerto and heading straight across right over Minas Generales, also right past Hacienda del Patron, Water Treatment, Cruz del Val, Torre Ahumada, and nearly ending up all the way up in towards Oasis. So it's not too often that we really see many teams dropping up in towards that Oasis position. But of course, well, there is still some chance for that to be happening.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know about you, but Miramar being my favorite map that's out there because it brings in a lot of the action. But yeah, let's see if we can get some hot drop action that's coming in there. Look at how this flight path is coming in, making it nice, even Stevens for everyone to at least get some of their looting in. So make sure that they jump into the right spots, as these are pretty fair jump in.
Yeah, I mean, even Steven can find themselves in a good
even
position.
Steven, that's right.
So it could be an even Stevens or even Steven. I don't think we have a Steven here, but speaking about even Stevens and whatnot, we do see that zone taking a little bit of a off-kilter shift all the way over on towards that western side.
That's right.
So that is going to impact, quite a bit as to how these teams can rotate and which positions they're going to be looking to kind of lock in, at least in these early stages. But of course, we do see several teams already in pretty close proximity. We do see the players there from Blackjack as well as Blood Brothers up in towards Los Leones. Down in towards Puerto is where we've got the players from Psycho as well as Limbo. So a lot of OO happening right down there on towards that far southern position. And a nice, mass migration now heading in towards that western position. We can see the rest of the teams that have not yet touched down are all now just starting to kind of flood in towards the zone itself.
That's right. So what a scary switch that the zone decided to do and pull all the way on the western side. It's like a magnet decided to go there because many of the guys, jumps within the Creative Fields region, El Paso, and then Monero. So, but I think it looks like they signed the contract. Hey guys, let's jump together, close zone, get the loot on, and let's see if we can bring a little bit of that spicy little action coming in there. But as you see, Porto Preso coming in at the bottom there with Citizens and Psycho, nice and close to each other. So I don't exactly know what's going on. I don't want to speak a little bit ahead of myself, as there is some good looting areas there on that side, but it's first come, first serve, I guess.
Yeah, first come, first serve, first weapon, first elim, right? That's right. Kind of how it happens. But of course, speaking about all these firsts, first, they need to drop down, right? And we still have a few teams, making their way on through. As we can see, the players here from Nexus, they are still just flying all the way through, looking to land themselves up in towards the greater fields. And of course, the other side that I was looking at without realizing that I actually clicked the buttons here is going to be the players from Void, looking to void the entrance of Black Cobra to get themselves in towards any of these compounds positioned where we can currently see the players here from A-Bomb as well as... well, they've got some very interesting names. We can go with Flum. There's Lobby.
Yes,
Flum. And then the other one is... Well, yes.
Touches.
Yes, let's go with that.
So also, yeah, Dika. So one of my favorite teams as well is Void, with also great action. So I'm pretty much familiar with their gameplay. Not a team to be messed around with, especially if you're caught lacking. So we can't have Cobra not being as venomous or aggressive. But it's a nice little distance that you see the rest of the squad members as Bombers taking a nice look and marking the rest of the players there on the other side for Cobra. But yeah, so we have Dutchess, Bomb, Lobby, and Flum, who is our clutch guy. Nice and aggressive player. So keeping a nice close eye and see exactly where this goes.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that name says 1v lobby, if I'm not mistaken. 1v lobby MVP. That's a very bold statement to make. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, if it's not, that's what it should say, right? Indeed, it does. It says 1v lobby. All right.
It's 1v lobby.
There we go.
1v lobby.
Yes, and it's not version 1 of the lobby. It's one player.
It's the only one version.
Yes, the one player going up against the entirety of the lobby. Like, I can do that, but if the entire lobby is just bots, right? Any day of the week,
Yeah.
I can do that
Any
without
day.
any trouble. Like, I can even pick up that winner chicken dinner, right? That's how
Yeah,
easy it
that's right.
is for me. But it has to be bots, and then I should probably be playing like in the bronze tier because yeah, anything higher than that, not so much.
Nah, I would call the tier for myself wood if there was any tier like that. So it would be the wood level tier. But any one of these teams that joins me in that lobby, any one of them, now I'll find myself cooking back to the lobbies for certain.
Oh yes, oh yes. I mean, it's going to be a pretty tough lane, of course. Now we are out here talking about a whole variety of elements that you could name yourself, as we are still
Yeah.
waiting to see where the action is going to be coming on from. But at least for the time being, the teams are making their way through the looting phase, looking to get themselves situated, get everything sorted, do their due diligence, at least in these early few stages. But of course, once we
right.
get into those later phases, that is where we're expecting the kind of tension to start, kind of raking on up, as we can see Flum here just keeping a very quick watchful eye there as the players from RILA Insider are now just bringing in a quick bit of a dash, looking to get themselves up on the hill. And it's going to be Zeke to peek on through, bringing in a beautiful hit on towards Flum, as we can see coming through on the feed there.
Yeah.
It's already a fantastic start coming in for RILA Insider. That is what you call a little bit of a bait and switch, right? Because that was,
Yes, it was
such a great distraction coming in. And now they are just capitalizing off of the back of that. And I mean, fortunately, actually, for the players from Void, right? They only had one, potentially two players situated in that region. The other player near them is going to be the 1v lobby. But fortunately, 1v lobby is still some substantial distance away from where we see RILA Insider actually now moving into.
Yeah, that's right. So I don't think Void anticipated this movement in from INS, as they were not anywhere in the picture. But this is not what they anticipated at this point in the game. But you have INS that pushes nice and hard on their rotation. They do not waste any time to send some of these guys like Flum, particularly back to the lobby.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for Flum to just start popping off, right? I want to see them be on fire. That's what I'm waiting, because that's what the name suggests, right? So it would only be fitting to kind of see that come to fruition, because that's what I'm expecting, right? With a name like that, I would not be expecting anything else, right? That's just what it's got to be.
I agree, but that has been extinguished right now, so he's back to the lobby. So we have Dutchess, Bay-Bomb, and then 1v lobby. Let's see if he can stick to the name and earn that little bit of that entitlement that he's basically stated for himself.
Yeah, well, I know we said it's going to be hot, right? So, yeah, let's see how hot this can really get. Meanwhile, we do have Philly now just trying to fill in a few of those gaps, just trying to come through with a bit of a spray here, looking to just bring in the supportive players here. But up comes the players now from Nexus, looking to contest against Black Cobra. Beautiful shots coming in there, as we do see Oxide now having to pay the price for a little bit of that cheeky push. Up comes that rush now on towards AK, as we see Garrix coming through there with the Uzi. And with that, it is going to be Garrix now just ripping it through. It is going to be Bucky now, the last remaining hopeful for the team here of Nexus. The shot's already starting to fly across. Not quite sure where Cobra is going to push towards. Are they going to try and close this one up? Philly and, Garrix now just out in a very exposed position. It does, in fact, seem like they were indeed able to find that squad wipe. So well done, well played on towards Cobra. As we can see those 3 eliminations already locked in alongside their name. But now this is the beautiful section that we've been waiting for teams really trying to get themselves a little bit more situated coming through in towards these phases. And while Cobra are enjoying their spoils of victory, we do see a few other teams now finding themselves in a little bit of a less favorable position. We could say even a little bit of a predicament, right? The players here from Endgame up in towards Monte Nuevo. As we can see, they are now just moving in from this northeastern position. But already the players there from Blood Brothers having themselves situated up on towards the high ground. Now that's going to be a super favorable spot for them to kind of have control of. But all they got to do now is look to try and potentially leverage that as we wait to see where the next phase is going to be taking us. And of course, it centers up right there on towards Monte Nuevo.
Yeah, what a beautiful switch that Zone just decided to make. So it's going to make things interesting. As I just saw one of the most resilient teams, Nexus, getting taken out by Cobra. What an amazing play. But yeah, so we have these guys situated on the high end. That's a beautiful place to find yourself at this stage of the match right now. Any hard peaks, any pushes can be taken full advantage. Endgame should not find themselves at that point where they can be taken out and picked on from that high end.
Yeah, I mean, hard peaks, any pushes, you could end up in the bushes, right?
I love it.
It's one of those plays. You know, it's time for a little bit of a rhyme.
Yeah, man.
And I'll stop it right there. I'll stop it right there before it gets a little bit too much. But of course, now we can see the players here from Endgame still holding that position up in towards Monte Nuevo. We do see the Blood Brothers still up on the high ground, but this opens up a great opportunity now for Limbo and the players from Psycho to rotate up alongside that southern approach, utilizing that road, squeezing up in towards La Drillera. And of course, also curious to see what the players there from METAFORCE as well as Blackjack are going to be bringing on through, as we can see them now also on the slow, steady approach. G3, once again, position smack dab center zone alongside the players there from RILA Insider, while we are waiting for the players from Hungry for Kills to get themselves still ahead of that blue zone as they are out there sipping on a little bit of juice. But it's, you know, that juice with an extra bit of tingle, not necessarily kind of
little bit of a
you
kick.
like. Yeah.
Now, it's a tingle that we all get familiar with as G3 decides to play a little bit of a more longer game, a longer approach as they're coming in from that northeastern side, just above. But as the Blood Brothers are still holding the fort there on the upper ridge in-game, just making sure, because they don't have any zone pressure, just making sure that they stick around, holding this compound and making sure they play it safe so that they can do the picking off.
Yep, and at the end of the day, they're also going to be looking to compound those eliminations, right? Because the more of them you can find, the better it works for you with regards to your overall standings on the rankings. And you know, we see teams at times prioritizing those placement points, other teams prioritizing eliminations. But the ideal would be to find that balance between the two, right? Bring in a good amount of elims as well as a good amount of those placement points. And that consistency is what's going to be absolutely key for these teams. There's not a lot of time really to build up much consistency, seeing that it's only 4 matches and it's only 1 day. But, you know, it's worth the shot. It's worth an effort.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So taking advantage of that now. But the key word that you use right there is consistency. But as it was proven in the log that your eliminations actually counts a little bit. We had a team that finished 4th but came in 3rd, just above the 84K squad.
84K? Is that a new one?
H4K, G3, Hungry for Kills. Sorry, man.
Oh, H4K. Okay, never mind. I got you.
That's a half 4K. That's a half 4K.
Yeah, can get there. No, but I was like, because you had me there, because you said 8, like I heard 84K, and I'm looking at the teams list, and I'm like, I don't see a team with an 8 or 4K next to each other. Is this a new name that you've made up?
No, I wouldn't do that to you. No. But look, H4K, respectful team on their own, but I think you use a very important word. They're prioritizing placement over eliminations, but sometimes that eliminations will give you a little bit of a boost, as it has been proven.
Yep, ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of a boost, right? And when in doubt, you know, just grab yourself either a Monster, Red Bull, or whatever your poison is, right? To get yourself into a little bit of a boost there. And, you know, who knows? Maybe you could start taking off and, you know, popping off and going absolutely crazy, just raking in.
Get those wings.
You know, and if that doesn't work, you can always just wing it, right? Whichever way you'd like. I mean, there's so many different options.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to go off on a bit of a tangent here, but of course we are
No,
just
let's do
looking
it,
at
man.
everybody looking to get themselves set up. So we got the players here from Limbo all the way down towards that far southern edge, keeping a good eye on their surroundings here. So we can see Guardia also now focusing down on towards the southern side. Not quite sure what Guardia is looking at. As we can see, there's no one there, right? So
There's no
maybe
one there.
just just Guardia trying to do their due diligence instead of just rushing up into a position blindly. But of course now we do have Hitman and the rest of the players coming through here from the KURD 12 MENA team, looking to apply a little bit of pressure further up that hillside.
Yeah, I think Citizens was just trying to be cautious because if you had a look, the HP was pretty low. So they probably got a little bit of a hiding somewhere out there and trying to make sure they do not get punished and being in an open position. Just me just swinging it out there, I'm guessing.
Well, one thing that we don't have to guess about at all is going to be where that next phase will be taking us. We can see it now centering up right on towards El Paso. So this is going to be a great opportunity for the teams already being situated there, like a team, you know, for instance, like KURD 12, who we have just on the outskirts of El Paso itself. So they do have a good amount of reach back in towards those sitting positions, up towards the high ground, as well as to those open fields we see situated on towards that eastern side. But again, this is now where it becomes quite challenging for the teams situated on the east, looking for that opening, right? Because they have to try and tempt fate, push out in the open, if that is the kind of only other option they have. Is looking at the positioning of these teams coming through, everyone is trying to avoid that field as much as they can.
That's right. So trying to avoid any exposure is exactly what they're going to try and do. As we're looking at the K-12 members right here, trying to take advantage of anything that comes in with a little bit less aggression than usual. But on Miramar, this is where that little bit of action and, using your far-sightedness and at least trying to be a little bit more unpredictable as the approach happens moving forward.
Yeah, you could also look to add in a little bit of that je ne sais quoi, right? You could add it in there. You know, I mean, add a little bit of that spice, that flavor, that pizzazz. You know, you could even dazzle it up if you want. I mean, if you really want to, there's even a skin for that. So there's a lot of options as to what these teams can do and how they are going to be looking to play it on through. But in the meanwhile, we are looking at the players here from Endgame, currently just up on towards Monte Nuevo, coming in from that southern position. Not a super aggressive approach from them, but of course, speaking about the aggression, it is going to be the players here now from Tempa, just positioned up on the high ground. Or at least Watson is just perched up high, keeping a very watchful angle here, looking to see if they can maybe, spot any vulnerabilities to strike down on.
Perfect observation. Yeah, as he's surrounded by two teams, I can't see where the rest of his squad members are. He has most undoubtedly marked off the teams that he has facing him, but it's a beautiful position that they have selected. As Bunny takes some shots like there. Oh, I thought he was eliminated there for a second, but makes it just in time as Watson sending some fire on their way.
Yep. It's just a quick hop, skip, and a boop, and down you go. That is what's going to be needed. We see Matador now also just trying to get away from the carnage. Hard on their heels as the shots continue to fly on in. It is now up to Nagato to try and bring in a quick little bit of a reposition, trying to just relocate themselves back into a little bit of that safety. And of course, I mean, still, Watson keeping a very watchful eye, still perched up high. We did see a few of those hits now getting sent across, but none of them really resulting in any eliminations just yet. The players from Grim also now, just backing off a little bit as we did see those shots going up on towards Bunny, with the team quickly retreating back into the safety of their little hidey hole.
Yeah, that's right. So with the distance, you're not going to you won't see much elims from that distance, but he's keeping them at bay, putting a little pressure on them, and might be baited probably to buy some time for the rest of his squad to come a little closer and for them to engage and move a little in. It depends on where the zone decides to push. Will obviously determine exactly what they do from there. As Citizens try to move in with a little bit of rotation, as the zone decides to push in with the EFX squad right ahead of them.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a tough decision. Wow, English, please. Tough decision. There we go. Got it. Nailed it. for Big Ho and the rest of the players here from Limbo, aka Citizens, to try and bring on through. As you can see, those utilities now starting to get sent across. The players there from Psycho also now coming under fire as G3.
Oh, yeah.
The rest of G3 Tempo looking to strike down and apply a little bit of their own pressure. Meanwhile, Citizens now in a position where they need to try and kind of decide how are they going to best get themselves out of this sticky situation. What I definitely know is crashing into things like Big Ho is doing
goodness.
here is you know, it's really not the approach that you want to be taking, as you know, it kind of it just delays the inevitable, and that could of course be, you know, you meeting your fate, meeting your maker, call it whatever you like, put whatever spice you want on it. But of course now, you know, speaking about add-ons, it is going to be the players here from RILA, Insider, and Blackjack now getting into a little bit of that, you know, add-on aggression.
Yeah, that's right. So RILA Insider trying to at least find a little position when it comes to BJE. Not a team to be reckoned with. As Psycho, possibly going to do a little third-party play, taking the attention off INS right now, where they can take advantage, at least do a little bit of a shuffle, a little bit of a rotation as they can hold the fort. But no, Zeke decides, you know what, Psycho, I'm going to take them on as they go along. This is crazy stuff, man. He should be a Psycho. Oh.
Yeah, I think they probably are, right? As we just saw, rather, V2K running into a little bit of a brick wall there. Ooh, like the Endo coming through there from end game. I mean, wow, that was actually quite fitting. You know, we usually see wheelies and such, but we don't see Endos coming through all too much. And with that, it is going to be well, Riz getting taken down there for Team Psycho, and now it is up to Master left to try and keep it all together. We can see Nagato also now on the opposite end, just ahead of Zeke there. But Master cooking up those nades, looking to send it across. But up goes that full-on rush as the players from EFX to step on in. And with that, they lock in their fourth elimination. But I'm liking the aggression the teams are dialing up here.
Yeah, that's right. What an amazing push that was done right there from the EFX. Master finally back in, not losing any connection, but this time still getting eliminated and sent back to the lobby. I mean, they are playing an amazing game as EFX right now, trying to at least get some of that elims into that position placement. BJE also doing a nice rotation, holding forts, going to be moving in right now head-to-head, possibly with INS. On the outside there, getting out of the blue zone is Reverb.
Yeah, Reverb
yeah,
now
look at that.
in quite a bit of a sticky spot here, just trying to get themselves situated back in it towards that zone. We can see Zane also now just braving the zone itself, just pushing on forward and actually being able to find a decent angle to pull in towards. With that, now quickly just getting himself situated in towards this little shack here, as we can see Mercury also still on that very edge. Well, not on the edge much longer, as they still have quite a bit of ground now to try and cover the zone. Taking a little bit of a swing further up towards the northern side, but it's going to be a nice spray coming down on towards Reverb and MG. But again, we see Zeke, we see Coco, also just holding up there for RILA Insider, still trying to keep themselves in contention. Don't want to let any opportunities potentially pass them by. And also even Marley just holding up there on the edge.
Yeah, that's right. So BJ in a little bit of a situation right now with EFX trying to take full advantage, using that third-party play tactic, holding the ridge line as BJE. I don't know if that tactic's going to work for them, but the smokes holding it and placing the inevitable a little bit and delaying it just slightly longer.
Yeah, the inevitable. Wow, I can't speak today. That being what it is, right? That fancy word you just used that I cannot pronounce whatsoever today. That being what it is going to be quite a bit of a challenge still for these teams to try and get themselves into a nice, good, strong, secured position. With that, we do see Reverb now also dropping some change along the way. We do have Strange on the opposite end here now, for hungry for those elims, looking to step up. And with that, we can see in the feed the players there from Blackjack now having to pack their bags and make their way, as we are down to our final 10 teams. 30 players now, of course, still strewn across the map here. But it is going to be, once again, the teams having to try and get themselves resituated, repositioned. And, of course, you can see Strange trying so hard. It seems like they are running in place. On the opposite end, we got the players here from EFX now pushing up on this western front. Trying to push in, trying to get ahead of that blue zone, but the terrain is just so challenging that they are also getting a little bit stuck in the crossfire there. The shots continuing to fly on through. It is going to be strange on the opposite end. The players there from EFX now also getting eliminated as they are sent away. With that, down to the final 5 teams we go. You can see RILA Insider now trying to apply the pressure. They do succeed as they pick up those hits on towards the players there. I believe that was from Endgame. It could have been the players from EFX as well. Not quite sure who it was, but we did see quite a lot of people now just getting sent back.
Yeah, that's right. We've come to that point where there was 10 teams available right now at this point of the zone. But we're looking at K12, G3 squads, INS facing each other, going head-to-head. We can expect sprays coming from left and right as the border is being kept on the northern and southern edge from 2 of the most dangerous squads we can find. But let's see who holds this ridge line. We find ourselves in territory where rotation is important. But without vehicles, you're going to have to face them head on.
Yep. I mean, they just got to opt for the usual standard kind of, roll and keep your fingers crossed, right? Hoping to see if you can maybe, use a bit of a putifar there, as you said, the feet.
Yeah.
Just go for a bit of a stroll in the park, out in the desert, burn your feet. There's many different options you can opt for here. But of course, still the teams having to try and find that option that works best for them. Now, speaking about options, we also have a few options as to who we are going to be spectating, as we still have 14 players left, 4 teams remaining. You see the players here from Hungry for Kills still looking to play it up from this northern position, already down to only 3 players they are. You see the players here from Temper also now up alongside RILA Insider with a little bit of a peek coming in from Zeke on towards the players there from KURD 12. Beautiful spray picking up 2 along the way. That is what we love to have. And with that, it is going to be that blue zone adding on that extra level of complexion of complexity rather onto these teams as, KURD 12 down to only 1.
Yeah, that's right. The complexion added was a lobby look right there for the K12 team. So getting sent back to the lobby, but what a beautiful spray and getting picked off by Zeke as INS is going, Zeke's on fire, people. Where's the extinguishers? You gotta get it. We still have 1 K12 member still out there as Sass trying to hold the fort, trying to see if he can get that number on the last remaining K12 member. Anis? Oh, I had to be careful when I said that name.
Yep. Let's just go with Ness, right? We got Ness. Ness here with a few letters that we'll skip just because we can. Yes, Ness now trying to nestle themselves up on towards this western side, just on the very edge of zones. We can see 6 meters away. Well, you can't see it. Trust me, it's 6 meters that they are yet to go. And of course, now we can see Zeke and the players here from RILA Insider applying quite a large amount of pressure on it towards Temper. Those utilities getting sent across, and this is making it so treacherous for any of these teams to get themselves into a nice secured position. It is now Zeke looking to kind of tweak that van up, just reversing it back in towards position. We got Marley also just up on the high ground, coming in with a nice vantage point here as well, bringing in those off-angle plays. But I'm liking this position coming in here from Ness as well, right? Just providing us with a bit of an off-angle perspective as to what's going on while these teams are just grinding away out on the battlefield.
Yeah, that's nice. So Ness is playing a little bit of a smoke battle, making sure that the other teams handles the business for him, and he'll be picking off as things goes along. But Marley comes in right now. Ness saying, "You will not step into my zone," as he sends and sprays, but doesn't get that clutch going. Marley might just end this if he does a little rotation. And as we go, there we go.
Yeah.
Not Marley going, "I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy." There we go.
At least. I mean, it would have been quite a devastating blow, but what's no surprising is going to be the players here from RILA Insider picking up that winner chicken dinner. Zeke on peak performance. 9 eliminations being brought in there, putting them on a beautiful collective 15 elims for this match. Absolutely runaway play coming in. Of course, the players there from G3 Hungry for Kills taking that second position with 2 eliminations to the name. KURD 12 up in 3rd place. As we can see then also G3 Temper up in 4th position, coming in with 8. We got Endgame ending their game in 5th place with 1 elimination. We got the players there from Black Cobra up in towards 6th place with 6 elims. Good finish. We got Void,
nice,
of course, up in 7th then. We got the players from EFX picking up 7 elims up in that 8th place finish. The Blood Brothers, banding together, finishing in 9th, picking up 1 at least. So it's not such a bad run for them. We do see MG there also then finishing on those 4 eliminations. And that's pretty much all she wrote, right? So a little bit of a tough play once again. Not surprising, however, because we know the team's really stepping it up. And of course, our stars of the match are going to be none other than Zeke with the going all out play there. So essentially our MVP. 9 eliminations, not surprising whatsoever. And of course, as we can see, Zeke also landing that final blow with Garrix from Black Cobra getting our best companion. So if you ever go into a very tight and uncomfortable game, Garrick is your player, right? Garrick is your person to bring along and ensure that you maybe make it a little bit further than you would have if you were a solo. And I actually need to listen to my own advice here. But of course, great performances nonetheless.
Yeah, that was amazing. Speaking of Garrick, he kind of caught me at off guard. Taking out, like I said, one of the most dangerous squads, that being Nexus. So they handled their teamwork pretty well. He brought in those revives, but he only got one. But I mean, it is Nexus that we're talking about. Also, Zeke, I cannot leave Zeke from the INS. Pulling out that 9 eliminations, getting that chicken dinner. That was just astonishing and amazing gameplay from most of the squads stealing all that elims.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very satisfying performance coming through there from the players of RILA Insider. And of course, Zeke just being a beast, you know, doing some Zeke things, as we know. Very, very satisfying without any doubt. But of course, speaking about, you know, satisfaction, we are going to have to satisfy our quench, our thirst for, well, liquids. Because it's that time. We are going to be heading into a quick break. We're also going to be coming back with our match results, or rather our overall rankings, to see where the teams find themselves after that second match. And then, of course, we're going to be heading straight down into the jungle to get into a little bit of that hot and sweaty action as the teams fight it out in CQC. Of course, well, that means it is break time. So be sure to stay tuned, guys. We'll see you guys right back after the break.
See ya.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're getting ready to hop into our third match of the day here. Of course, already concluded the first two, finished up Irangle and Miramar as well. So next up, heading straight over in towards the jungle to see who's going to be the king of the jungle. But of course, before we get into any of that, we need to take a quick gander to see what our point situation is. We can see G3 sitting still up in that pole position. Well, is it still? No, they weren't still in pole position. I think it was a little bit of a different situation earlier on, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no. I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
The other way.
Yeah, it was G3 sitting on 33 points after the first match, and now we got them on 49. Of course, RILA making a little bit of a move there. All right, we did see them sitting over in towards, well, 7th place after the first match. Now they've progressed all the way in towards 2nd with that beautiful winner chicken dinner as well. And then, of course, the players there from Hungry for Kills also then moving up one slot. They were in 4th. Now they find themselves in 3rd, just changing places with the players there from EFX.
Yeah, that's right. But that's exactly what we were talking about in game number 2, is prioritizing placement over eliminations. Really Insider just kind of proved that somehow. I didn't expect them to take such a massive jump. But look, they found themselves now in 2nd place, just below G3 Temper, who in some ways were dominating in terms of elimination and, eliminations. But yeah, so it just shows you getting that chicken dinner with 16 eliminations to their name can obviously get that jump. So how do you balance those things up?
It's a tough one, right? It's really a tough one to try and make that distinction. But of course, it's practice, right? The teams need to practice to try and build up that consistency, get that synergy to work out. And of course, there's also another solution. If you're struggling to find any winner chicken dinners, KFC and Nando's are your friends, right?
You actually caught me off guard with that one, yeah, but I thought you had a legit answer for that.
Well, I mean, what's also a pretty legit answer, right, is if we have a quick little gander here, we can see that we are, in fact, moving up in it towards a little bit of that Sandhawk action with the flight path and the lovely island down below. And that also only means that we are coming in from that Tambang region, heading across straight on towards Lakawi. So Sandhawk, one of the maps, well, the only map really, where the flight path does not really matter all too much. What's going to be more important is what these teams are going to be doing with regards to their positioning. But also we're going to be looking to see where that first initial zone will be taking us, as we've got everyone now just disembarking, getting themselves situated, spread out, looking to go through that looting phase. One thing that we haven't really seen all too much of just yet is that heal strat being used excessively so, right? It is applied every now and again when needed, but I'm really liking the fact that teams so far over the other regions that we've seen have really kind of preferred to not really focus all their efforts on making the heal strat their primary kind of approach to coming into Sandhawk.
Yeah, that's right. A fantastic observation. It's also something that I noticed. I can't obviously find the answer as to why that is, because that's normally a good strategy to use. But yeah, it's Sandhawk. It would normally be placement. As you can see, this is probably one of the most fairer cut in placements or flight paths, which doesn't really matter, and that's what makes Sandhawk so unique. But we'll see some usual jumpers, as G3 would normally go all the way to the Mongna area, get that loot, clear loot, so they can do a nice pressure push. But it doesn't really matter. Look at the zone. Who brought the protractor?
It was Pedro. Yeah. It was Pedro. He was yeah. I saw him, like he just walked past the door here. I think he's heading towards you or something. But I saw Pedro with the protractor there, looking to attract a little bit of chaos potentially on towards themselves. And of course, speaking about those attractions and protractions and any attractions you can think of, we do see the players here from Grim as well as the team from RILA Insider getting into a little bit of a sweaty spot in towards Camp Charlie.
Exactly.
Also, a few of those Edams now coming through there, as we did see. We did have Coco already starting it off here with Bunny and the rest of the team actually now hopping right to the action as they are looking to come in swinging, looking to show what they are made of. And now it is up to Matty, who we just saw getting knocked right on down.
Oh, no.
It is up to Bunny and Lockjaw now. Some very interesting decisions being made here with regards to names. But of course, now Lockjaw is going to come rushing on forward. You can see Marley just on the other side of that wall. The weapon peering through every now and again, but now it is going to be that rush coming in. Up comes Zeke, looking to apply that pressure and pick up that squad wipe. Already one elimination now locked in for the players here of GRIMMCITY. But will this be their city to hold on to? Camp Charlie is definitely not a compound that can be shared by two teams.
No, it's not. What kind of action does one expect here at Camp Charlie? Butt spray and fire with the little AKM and QBZ going all crazy stuff. Iron is finding themselves in not the best position right now as Grim is holding it, making it look pretty grim for both squads, going off and off, members down, each one, as INS should maybe try and rotate, get some distance so they can recover exactly what they have left of the team.
Yeah, and up comes Trip now, looking to try and close that one up. Of course, quite a few reses already coming through on towards the players here from GRIMMCITY. CIA trying to step on out. Down they go once again.
Oh!
Bunny also now right back to where they started, and it is now up to Lock and Trip to kind of fight it out. Up comes the potential res now coming through here. Trip now trying to see if they can get themselves situated, get those angles lined up before mounting that aggressive push now through on towards the players here from GRIMMCITY. But it also does seem like Trip is instead going to be focusing on getting Marley raced on through. And both teams now coming in, tending to their wounded and potentially looking to continue this fight once again.
That's right. Kind of looking like a hospital ward right now in World War II. It's Camp Charlie. But look, I think INS did Trip did the best thing for INS right now. Trying to hold down, get some of the players down from the Grim squad so he can move in to go and help Marley and Zeke to try and keep intact what is remaining for the INS squad as Coca has been sent back to the lobby.
Yeah, it is going to be a risky play whichever way you pull it. But now, as we can see, Grim still just trying to ride the storm out, trying to see if they can play these positions. Meanwhile, we do see in the feed the players there from Blood Brothers also coming in with a few pushes of their own as they now just ascend down upon the players from Void. But they are quick to react. It is now going to be a little bit of devastation being dealt here. Hosam already down for the count. Up comes Matador. Oh, all they see is red as they get knocked right on down. Nagato finds a little bit of a spray there. We did see that hit coming through as well now as Bunny also gets knocked on down. But let's see whether or not the players here from the Blood Brothers as well as Grim will be able to kind of hold strong in their efforts here as both teams on two different locations on the map kind of find themselves in a little bit of a sticky situation.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like that guy on Split right now. I don't know what character I am because we are having the Blood Brothers holding the fort against Void Squad, not avoiding any battles as Nagato holding it close. Matador got served his little red coat being sent back. And on the other side, we have Lockjaw here making my jaw lock against INS and their squad trying to get that number and owning Camp Charlie.
Ooh, well, 1v lobby now. Doesn't need a lobby. All they need is ammo as they come hammering away, dealing head after head. It is now Flum who also now gets snuffed out. And with that, the rest of the team follows suit as the Blood Brothers closes that one up. We still have the players here from RILA Insider still in contention for this Camp Charlie position. Trip and Zeke holding on for dear life. Trip now heading a little bit further up north. We do see Zeke as well also now just trying to bring in a few of those bandages. A very troubling kind of angle for Zeke to be in. Down to the final bandage they go. After that, we only have, the pulse, which we can see being used right now. And, of course, that energy drink. But still, they're making the efforts to get those health bars back into optimal kind of form before potentially deciding on which way around they're going to be looking to push out of this position.
That's right. The pressure that's being applied to them right now kind of made them shift away from the looting stage, more survival more than anything else. As you can see, Marley's gone, and so is Coco. INS Strip not familiar with the kind of pressure that they're under as they're facing a full squad, DK.
Yeah.
Oh, grim. Isn't that grim?
Yeah, it is. It's GRIMMCITY, right? So, not only is it going to be a slight little bit of grimness coming through, but it's going to be a whole heap of that, as we can see the assault now being mounted here. A little bit of that CIA action coming in as well. As you see the hits now coming through from Trip, landing some beautiful hits. Matty also just trying to line it up. Trip in a very hot and sticky position here. Trying to see if they can maybe ride out the storm. But again, a good approach coming through here from the players of GRIMMCITY, right? Really playing these
Yeah.
angles quite favorably and actually just trying to kind of, stay in this game as long as they possibly can manage.
Yeah, that's right. As you just mentioned that, I saw Grim Bunny disappear, probably went back to Easter Island. We still have CIA available. Zeke is in trouble right now. He's down. Trip playing no time, gonna try and extinguish the rest of this Grim team to try and hold down exactly what they have left. He'll probably be all alone after this.
Yeah.
I've never seen INS in so much pressure right now trying to get when it comes to our little camp here in Charlie.
Yeah, well, I mean, Trip now definitely playing a little bit of hide and seek right here, right? Seeing that they are the only remaining hopeful left for this team. I mean, the best option here would be to try and get out of this position, right?
I agree.
We do have the waterway right behind them, so that could be a viable option. But as we can see, the players here from GRIMMCITY, they are not going to let anyone slide on by just yet. So we got Matty and CIA now just trying to clear these buildings up one by one as they look to find that final hopeful. But this could now be the opportunity for Trip to get themselves out of this position. Meanwhile, we also did see that zone taking a little bit of a swing further on towards that eastern side with the players there from METAFORCE as well as Black Cobra exchanging a few tappity tap taps along the way. But again, nothing too super aggressive. Still just the teams trying to keep themselves in contention, trying to see if they can bring in some worthwhile rotations. Speaking of that, I mean, I'm curious to see at what point Trip is going to decide to kind of disengage from this position, as, Grim doesn't have a lot of time left on the clock before that blue zone starts moving in.
No, just under 20 seconds remaining for the blue zone to push in. But I don't think it's in Trip's veins to run around or run away from any battles. But I think he has to consider it, do a little wide rotation, go all the way on the upper edges through the water and on the upper edges of the hill. So it at least gains him some advantage, possibly some distance to get back into zone. I also saw that Woodson was taken down from the G3 squad, as G3 is a little bit under pressure. But I'm sure they can recover, as it's just a little of his HP that is left. He's back into the game, holding the fort against the brothers. And Psycho not too far away on the outside there, DK.
Yeah, but I think what that was, it was just G3 trying to see what's on the menu, right? I think that was kind of the play that they were going for on that front. So you can see Buter and the rest of the squad now, again, just busy doing their due diligence. Meanwhile, we do see the players here from the Blood Brothers also now getting into a little bit of that back and forth with endgame Snow now trying to get melted up there as the mollies are starting to fly on through. But they got to be careful because we were just watching the players from G3 Temper, and we could see on the G3 Temper side that Blood Brothers weren't too far away from them. So if they're not too cautious, we could actually see a little bit of that third-party action coming through. And of course, speaking of that, we do see another team now pulling up on the hill. That is, in fact, the players from G3 Hungry for Kills, or as you'd like to say, the HFKs. So they are right there. And then we've got the TMP guys, Temper, for those who missed it, sorry, on towards the western side. So a few challenging plays coming through from these teams here.
Yeah, that's right. So what's to be expected is easy third-party action coming in, especially when you're on the ground within the compound area and there's a hill right behind you. The action you can hear, it's not too far away to be pushing in. So in-game might be in a little bit of trouble as Meta is now taking on Grim, which now is returning the favor. They're in a Grim position with Meta just holding them down within that blue zone.
Yeah, indeed it is. But look at that Cloud now. Just going for a beautiful bit of an ambush up in the grass there, doing what a Cloud does best and bringing through that METAFORCE as they strike on down. And with that, pushing us into 13 remaining teams. Of course, Trip also now still looking to extend their options here, pushing through Cave, looking to grab a little bit of loot before focusing their efforts on just, furthering their position up in towards the zone. Meanwhile, the players here from the Blood Brothers still going at their way, trying to see if they can reach across in towards endgame. But as we know also, that zone has taken a little bit of a shift up. Nothing too aggressive because we know that's kind of the trend looking over on towards Sandog. Because we can see, again, just a slight suggestion over on towards that eastern side. And this is actually quite nice for the teams because now they've got the opportunity to kind of continue with the engagements that they find themselves in or potentially rotate forward and get into More engagements.
More engagements, yeah, spot on. So you see that G3 is currently sitting on a third-party position. Doesn't take complete advantage of that because they probably want to hold that little foundation as BJE is not too far from them on the outside. Just taking a look at that little switch from the zone, it gives them a little bit of time for most of the squads to come in. So looking at 13 teams still remaining, 46 dangerous players still alive and keeping it kicking as we have these teams trying to hold the fort and get those elims in.
Yep, and they're going to try and kick it like it's hot. But of course, you know, you can't kick it for too long. You have to try and step up and make some form of a play or a push. And I mean, speaking about pushes, it is going to be Garrix pushing themselves over the edge. And in fact, getting themselves knocked right on down. And with that, the Cobras lose a player. Also, the players there from KURD 12 also coming on with those hits. We can see up towards that northern edge of the zone. So loving the contention. Or the tension and the contention and the whatever fancy words you
I love it either way.
Coming in from all directions as the teams now continue to push and try to just better their current positions. But again, right? So we are in that third phase, a few seconds away from the complete zone closure. But this is now where we see the teams trying to bring through a little bit more of a strategic approach, right? And this is what we love about Sanhok is any mistakes these teams make, they get severely punished for any of those by all the teams surrounding them.
You can't afford to make a mistake on Sanhok. It puts you at a disadvantage and the rest of your squad on the back foot and will make whatever approach you take a little difficult because the focus will have to be on whatever it is you might have made. So this is not exactly the terrain to make that kind of mistake. As we saw, one of the team members from BJ... Oh, I thought that was roadkill there for a second. I thought Slash has got slashed with a little bit of slick tires there from the... Oh!
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that was Pyro and Mercury, right? Just stepping up, keeping it tight, and with that, slashing down on the prices to be sure to get your discounted whatever. I mean, I was trying to do a...
No, you were halfway there. It kind of worked out. But look, the most dangerous element you can find right now is Mercury.
Yeah.
And Pyro as a combination, just getting that player and send him back to the lobby. Not just using anything. Aggressive push with that vehicle, man.
Yeah, but
you don't want to be eliminated like that.
Yeah, I agree. But this is where the question comes in, though. I mean, yes, the name's Mercury. Does that mean that they, they heat up quite quickly? Right? Are they dangerous? Right? Are they poisonous? Like, because we know Mercury is that and many other things, but
many things.
What is the emphasis on, right? Is it just, being a little bit of an exotic kind of semi-liquid metal? Like, what's the approach?
No, dude, no. I think it's a semi-metal that I wouldn't mess around with. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. You'll find him pliable, but you cannot swallow. You cannot drink him. You're going to have to face him head on.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Phoenix.
Yep. Will rise from the ashes once more. But maybe not right now. We'll keep an eye on this situation. As you can see, Blackjack now just hunkered down onto those rocks. And of course, speaking about rocks, it is going to be KURD 12. Also looking to rock it out in the grass here as they too come on a little bit of an approach, creeping closer on towards the players there from Blackjack. As we can see, Blackjack focusing their efforts onto HFK, and it's going to be QLF sneaking up towards BJE, looking to get
goodness,
a few elims.
Yeah. So K12 doing this almost the same thing that they did in game number 2. Might not get away with it and doesn't. As Citizens member just sends him back to the lobby. We have reverbing and spraying on the G3 members within that little bit of a shelter area. Probably not the best place to be in right now. BJE taking full advantage of that gap.
Yeah, I mean, seeing that we're on the puns, I wanted to say that the player there from Endgame has little to no chance of making it out of the blue. And, well, that kind of came to fruition before I could even say it, as we did see those shots now just getting lasered on in. And speaking about lasering, it is going to be Reverb still continuing on with the efforts here, looking to pick up as many of these elims as they possibly can. I mean, even the players there from Blood Brothers also now finding themselves in a little bit of a predicament, As we did see
Everywhere.
Matador getting taken right on down. It is going to be Hussam now, the last lone ranger for the team. Looking to see if they can find a good secure position to pull on through in towards. It is going to be Blaze now getting taken down with that. Buren
Oh,
finds a beautiful angle. And of course, Reverb now turning their attention right there on towards Sneaks. And see whether or not those heads are going to be able to come on through. Trip also just up ahead of Mercury there. So we could see another beautiful push coming through here. But also, it is going to be Blackjack now looking to just apply a little bit of dominance and aggression coming in from this northern region.
That's right, BJE not playing around. We had Reverb gunning for Sneaks and taking full advantage of that. So look, there's fire coming in from everywhere. We still have citizens in the game with seven teams now remaining with 19 players still within the gameplay as everyone tries to reposition, find themselves in the cozy area of the zone.
Well,
EFX nicely on the outside there, DK. Still full squad.
Yep. Still a full squad looking to make their way on through, and not a lot of options really left for them here. But let's see how far they can look to push this one through in towards now. As you mentioned, right? EFX are on the edge. Let's jump towards them. Otherwise, it's a little bit irrelevant. We did see the players there from Blackjack also moving in from that northern side. Mercury and the rest of the squad still keeping a very watchful eye and a very controlling position on towards the team here from Psycho. You see Noxide, or rather Oxide there in the feed also now coming through from the side of Nexus. Looking for a bit of an opening. Master spots the position on that. Are we going to see that hit? Oh, no need even as the blue zone comes through, but a quick assist coming in there. And with that, that is how you steal the elimination away from the blue zone itself.
That's right, Psycho Master taking full advantage of that and punishing the member sending him back to the lobby. That's exactly how you master sneaky elimination. Getting 3 eliminations to the Psycho name.
Yep. That is how it is done. Of course, the players there from Blackjack now looking to assert their dominance as they move in towards the northern side. They do seem to have a rather controlling kind of setup coming in here with the rest of the teams still pretty much scattered down on towards those more southern kind of regions, as there's not a lot of options really for these teams to try and still play at here. As we can see, taking a quick look on that map, we can see the players here from Psycho looking to push in from that southern position. Blackjack up in the north, as mentioned before. We got Buden also now just looking to ride it in, coming through from these compounds on the very edge as Blue Zone now continues to close on in, really forcing the hand here. And this is where Buden is going to find himself in a little bit of a predicament because, I mean, it's up the hill. Blackjack's waiting at on the apex there. And of course, Blue Zone just adding on and kind of, just nipping at their heels as well.
That's right. So BJE finding themselves at the optimal position, getting that height, making it difficult for any of the teams coming in. And Buden tries to send it off and actually gets one of them down, but doesn't get it as the Blue Zone and the BJE squad is right in his face. There's one also getting eliminated here from Mercury. I told you he's dangerous. From EFX squad with 7 eliminations to their name. And here we have B2K taking a little bit of a chill on the edge of the blue zone, getting some of that meds in, making sure that he can handle the battle coming in.
Yep, and speaking about the battle, we can see this is now going to be the opportunity for the players here from either EFX or Blackjack to try and clear up the zone. It is going to be V2K to get spotted out, and with that, we are down to our final 2 remaining teams. It is going to be the players from EFX and Blackjack looking to fight for that winner chicken dinner. Pyro also just up ahead, very, very close there to MG. As we can see, MG holding on to center zone. We got Zane on a little bit of an off angle, but still the rest of the squad yet to rotate on forward. Pyro might actually now get hit by a bit of that molly coming through at the hand of MG. Quick, a little bit of evasion coming in. Quick retaliation as well, getting sent across there. But this is now when we get to see these 2 teams fight it out to see which one will be the team to walk away with the winner chicken dinner. Zane now taking several hits.
Oh, yes, the Pyro just playing and sending that out all the way to Zane, saying, "You're not going anywhere, you shall not pass," and sends a little message over to Reverb as well as he gets knocked. Mercury's down as well. Phoenix still on the outside, and from the back, Pyro takes advantage. What amazing clutch. And here we go, coming to the winner chicken dinner, DK.
Yep, great play coming through there. EFX picking up a well-deserved victory, as we can see, of course, walking away with their 12 eliminations there. Blackjack taking that second position, finishing strong on 7. And then, of course, we've got the players from Psycho finishing up on 3rd place with 4 eliminations to their name. G3 Temper up in 4th with 5. And, of course, then the players there from RILA Insider finishing up in 5th position. And then, as we look a little bit further on down, you can see where the rest of the teams find themselves, how many of those eliminations they were able to bring in alongside that. The players there from Limbo also picking up their own 4 eliminations. We got the Blood Brothers up in 10th, sitting on 6. So we do have a few teams at least being able to pick up eliminations along the way before making their way over in towards that lobby. And of course, our stars of the match are going to be none other than Mercury and Superior from EFX, with Mercury being our MVP and Superior the player to land that final blow, with a little bit of action coming through there from Grim as well. Lockjaw then, of course, getting the award of the best companion, coming through with those 3 revives.
Yeah, that's right. We saw it happen. I did say it was a mid center up in Camp Charlie as he was going head to head with the other member. I think that was INS Strip that he had a difficult time with, or the Grim squad had a difficult time with the INS Strip. We actually didn't find himself halfway that bad since he was a solo member.
Yeah. Some really, really surprising plays coming through over onto Wutsanak. But of course, it's not all too surprising, as that is kind of what we were expecting to see coming in onto that map itself. But of course, that also then means the next up, we are going to be moving into our final match to see which 3 teams will be moving through to the Continental Finals. Also, we look to see which will be those 3 teams to pick up the prize money, at least on at stake here in today's qualifiers for the regional finals. It's not really the qualifiers, right? It's the finals. But the teams move through into the Continental Finals. So be sure to stay tuned. And we'll be back right after the break with the overall standings as well as our final match of the day.
Yeah, let's get it.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're getting ready to move into our final match of the day. Of course, we are going to be heading right over on to the ever lovely Erangel. But before we do any of that, we got to have a quick little look to see what our overall standing situation is and where these teams find themselves 3 matches deep. You know, 3/4 of the way done. And of course, we can see the players there from G3 Temper holding on to pole position. Look at that balance coming through.
Yeah.
31-31. And 1 winner chicken dinner. Of course, RILA Insider also showing some really great consistency there, as we can see 22-22 and putting them on a grand total of 44 points alongside that winner chicken dinner. So some really satisfying results coming through from these teams here. But again, as we can see, there is a little bit of that separation starting to come in with at least our top 5 teams, right? Blackjack, 4 points behind RILA. And of course, the players there from Hungry for Kills or HFK, as Mr. Dale there likes to say, are sitting on 31 points. So especially that 2nd to 5th place, it's still very contentious. Either of those 4 teams can still secure those final 2 slots. And I do think G3 Temper, they are pretty much locked and loaded into that pole position.
I agree. So G3 Temper, based on what maybe it happens now, but I think they locked into that first place for now. But like I mentioned in the break, really Insider, EFX making things very interesting, especially towards game 2 and game 3, bring them into that 2nd and 3rd place. But it does hold things a little bit tense and in contention when it comes to the 5th and 4th place, with BJE hanging on there, white knuckling in 4th position.
Yeah, speaking about white knuckling, of course, we are going to be taking a look at that 2nd page as well. So the players there from Blood Brothers up in 9th position, 1 point ahead of METAFORCE, who finds themselves 1 point ahead of Endgame, who also finds themselves 1 point ahead of Void, which again are 1 point ahead of Limbo. So, you know, like one good match from either of these teams could still bring in quite a bit of a change. I mean, even the gap between 8th and 9th place not being such a wide gap. So there's still, you know, some great opportunities to come through for these teams. And of course, speaking about opportunities, we can see we have now embarked onto the plane, starting to make our way on through, starting all the way up in towards that northwestern side. And in fact, we are then trickling down all the way in towards Primorsk. So a very satisfying flight path coming through.
Yeah.
But now we got to wait to see where the teams are going to be dropping, where that first initial zone is going to be forming, and then, of course, what these teams are going to be doing rotational-wise, and, you know, whether or not we're going to find any teams in a little bit of an early game engagement. As we do see, heading in the direction there of Severny, we have several teams now making that push, so that is going to be the players there from Limbo as well as EFX. Now, just kind of trying to race down in towards Severny. And as you said before, right, first come, first serve. So it's going to be interesting to see what these teams will have in store for us.
Yeah, that's right. So the flight path making things nice and interesting, doing a nice cut for 50% of the teams that are in there. Severny first come, first serve. We normally have some action going off there, but you do not want to find yourself coming last. But yeah, the zone makes things interesting as, like I said, 50% of the guys are going to find themselves in zone and the other just on the outside, not too far away. But the guys that's currently sitting within the bottom half of the log, so from 9th all the way down, they can go all the way out, try and take some risks to try and earn their spot, at least within the first page, I would say. The team that can maybe take a little bit more risk is the G3 squad and possibly EFX as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think we actually should get a team that's called What's It.
What's it?
Yeah, or call them What's Its Name. You know, I think that would be a perfect name for a team. You could confuse a lot of casters along the way as well. And of course, also at the same time, make it a little bit more interesting, you know, just to spice things up a slight tad. But speaking about spicing it up, we do see the players there from KURD 12 already hammering away on towards the players coming through from the side there of G3. So a great start, showing a little bit of that aggression coming through. And of course, speaking about aggression, we do see the players there from Psycho, as well as the team then coming through from, I believe, METAFORCE, positioned up in it towards that Rozok position. Blackjack and Void also finding themselves in a little bit of a predicament right there on the very edge. But now it's going to be down to what these teams are going to be bringing on through. We got Ness now bringing in the aggressiveness down on towards the players there from Temper. I mean, Like Ness, I guess, is a good name because you can add it onto anything else. And of course, speaking about adding it onto anything, it is now going to be the players here from KURD 12, MENA, looking to apply that pressure back down on towards the players from G3.
Yeah, that's right. I cannot fail to say this, but K12 not being absent in any one of the games tonight. So they were pretty impressive, maybe not getting their way all into the top position or, in first page, but getting third place in game number 2. So they are making a name for themselves, holding the fort against some of the most impressive squads that we can see. So welcome, K12.
Yeah. KURD 12, definitely no strangers in the MENA region whatsoever. But of course, we do see a little bit of that aggression now getting applied across the board. The players here from Endgame getting caught up with the players from Black Cobra, as we can see up in towards those Nova crates. A little bit of a dash and a play as those Lambos roll on away. We also do have Ness now just looking to try and reach all the way across on towards Watson. But it does seem like Endgame could be ending up with the controlling kind of position up in towards the Nova crates here, as we do see, or rather the Georgia Bull crates. Sorry, wrong place. As we do have the players there from Black Cobra now looking to position themselves a little bit further on towards the northern side, right? They did first start off heading in towards that eastern side, but a quick turnaround. Ooh, actually does seem them swinging back on towards the players here from Endgame. So this is where things could really take a swing to the interesting edge now, as we have the players from Endgame and Black Cobra getting ready to exchange a few of those hits.
Yeah, that's right. So unpredictable switch that was pulled there, as we see a nice drop on AO right there, nearly putting an end to him, but he's down for now, as Yu was trying to get some recovery on himself. But yeah, the switch kind of caught me off guard there by Cobra. So that's exactly the kind of sneaks we like to see going on in the Georgia Paul crates or container area. In the open is you, and that's the end of you.
Yep, indeed, that was the end of you. And now, speaking about the ends, the players here from G3 Temper also find themselves just holding on to the very edge. The KURD 12 come in showing a lot of aggression, just rushing on forward, reducing GC Temper down to only 2 remaining hopefuls. It is going to be Buden and Flacco. But of course, these are 2 very capable players. But what's a little bit odd, though, is we've got Buden all the way up towards the northern side, right, approaching Gatka. And then we've got Flacco all the way down in Primorsk. So
on the other end.
Yeah, I mean, that is quite the separation we've got coming in for this team. So not quite sure whether or not that was intended, or maybe Flacco, just went out to go grab a quick glass of water or something. But yeah, this kind of happens. And of course, as we can see, Flacco just chilling there all the way down towards the southern side. We've got the players there from GRIMMCITY now going about their looting business up in towards that Primorsk position. So, I mean, Flacco at the end of the day still needs to be a little bit cautious. You're right. Needs to be a little bit aware of the sounds around them, as one false move could mean the end for the G3 Temper team. But of course, looking at their position coming through on the overall standings, I don't think they are in any need to worry about that really. I think they're pretty secured for one of those top 3 slots.
No, yeah, and I agree with you completely. Like I said, they can take risks. Not the risks exactly that I was talking about so early in the game. I'm not exactly sure what could have happened. Can't be a tactic. I think something might have happened during the flight path, which I might have missed. But yeah, so we have Flacco on the outside, has nothing but bandies on his name and a level 1 helmet. So at risk, trying to keep it quiet because Grim is not too far away.
Yeah, so this is now where they need to practice as much caution as they could possibly manage. Well, we could potentially see a little bit of that reinforcement coming through now from Buden's side, as we do see Buden being mobile. They have opted for a vehicle. But of course, now speaking about those vehicles and the mobility, it is going to be the players here from the Psycho Edge finding themselves in a little bit of that back and forth with the team from METAFORCE. We can see Chiro now just held up on the edge. No use. Held up in the window. Trying to see if they can third-party potentially peek it up and trying to find an angle to strike down from. But I mean, looking at what's kind of happening here so far, right? Psycho down to 3, Meta starting on 3. They still have all their players up, but the difference being is that Meta has already found that first elimination for them.
That's right. That's right. So METAFORCE doing a little bit of suffocation on the Psycho squad, holding them down, but you have no use in the upper edge of that compound. Trying to keep Chiro not moving too much, so trying to immobilize him a little bit. So making things very difficult with the other team members on the outside. This one is out there, Master's out there. Hopefully, they're still trying to keep in with play.
Yeah, well, only time will tell which way around this is going to unfold for them. We can see Chiro keeping their ears open. We also have, well,
Is this Fathomid?
Let's go with Fathomed, right? Fathomed, that sounds a little bit better. Otherwise, I'm going to come up with a really odd name. But let's just go with Fathomed. So Fathomed, finding a bit of an angle there on towards Master. So a good little bit of a, a good little bit of a tappity tap coming in as the pressure is getting applied. And of course, now speaking about a little bit of that pressure, we can see Amjad coming in with a nice trade there on towards Superior from EFX. Now that, of course, is happening all the way up in towards the far northern reaches of the zones. You can see the players here from Void now just exploring their options, finding one player along the way, and instead of using up more of the ammo, they are instead going to be looking to, maybe just roll on through, pick it up with the vehicle as they go, and that could be a very successful run for them. Meanwhile, Master on the opposite end getting traded here by Chiro as that blue zone now catches up with these teams positioned up in towards Rozok. Up comes a quick reposition from Chiro, looking for a bit of an angle to play off of here. But this is where Chiro needs to keep their eyes and ears open. As we can see, we do have no use position just up ahead. But of course, we also then have Riz positioned on that off-angle side as the shots come through. Chiro gets traded on down. And this is an absolutely beautiful angle being played here by Psycho now.
That's right. So Psycho doing a nice rotation on the squad right there, being taken full advantage of. We saw Master not really taking too much cover and putting themselves in a disadvantage as this one has to get him back on his feet. But this is where you have to keep a cool head. Normally teams that play within the blue zone and find comfort there normally takes full advantage and gets away with it. I'm not sure that Psycho is that squad. I've seen METAFORCE do it before as they normally try and push the longer game, avoid normal, multiple battles as they like staging in. So this is a little different. I'm not sure. I haven't seen much of Psycho in this game, but let's see if they can get away with it.
Yeah, well, it's going to be Fathomed and Dark Ghost now, just patiently waiting to see what other players will bring on through as Psycho continue to try their options here. We do see the players also then from Limbo coming into a little bit of an exchange there up north as they bump into the players there from Black Cobra along the way. So a beautiful bit of that trade-off coming through as the teams continue now to try and make their way up in it towards the zone. I'm not quite sure what Dark Ghost is going to be able to do with his position. Fathomed also not going to be looking to, to lean towards the aggression all too much. Instead, rather looking for a bit of a rotational option heading further on towards that northern side, trying to play the edge of the waterway. And of course, speaking about waterways and options, we were looking at Buren and Flacco a little while ago, but up ahead, we do see Dark Ghost now getting absolutely lasered down. Let's see whether or not Fathomed is going to be able to get themselves out of this predicament as they now continue to play along these northern sides. We can see, of course, the players coming through there from Psycho are all beautifully lined up on that roadway. So this could be a great potential play, but I'm not quite sure whether or not Fathomed is actually going to be able to pull this one off. Yes, they've got 19 bandages. But, that's going to take up quite a bit of time.
Yes, it will. Look, I just want to mention something before we continue. I think you're onto something when it comes to his name. It's Unfathomed.
Oh.
Think about it. You said Fathomed. I'm seeing Unfathomed. So let's see if Unfathomed can actually make his way through the blue zone and find himself into a little and much better position as he moves away from the Psycho squad, who is being Psycho, taken out and left him the Lone Ranger for his meta squad.
Well, who knows, right? Always have a nice surprise coming through here from the players as they make a play on words that I sometimes don't get. But, that's the beauty of it, because I also don't get my own play on words most of the time. So, GG. Well done. Well played. It's probably Unfathomed. That makes so much more sense. So, well spotted there. Big shout out going out to Unfathomed for surprising me with such a creative name.
Yeah, but even more surprising, he makes it out of the battle, not unscathed, but he makes it out of the battle to try and get a nice position away from Psycho. Um, Not choosing to take a vehicle this time. Maybe just doing a little bit of a healing gameplay.
Yeah, maybe trying to go for that little bit more of the unfathomable approach, right? That's maybe like why the name is what it is. And of course, well, yeah, no, right, opting right into the vehicle. And I do
There we
think that was
go.
a really good decision to be making, as we can see the current position, the distance they have to try and cover to get themselves up in towards that zone, but instead
Yeah.
taking that northern approach. Okay, I get it. It's a little bit of a safer play. But there's only one medkit and still the 19 bandages. So
19 bandies.
you gotta engage warp speed on this Dacia to get yourself back into zone before this next shift comes on through, because blue zone is not gonna be sitting around waiting for anybody.
No, it's not. No, it's not. So the blue zone going to push in. Going to make things difficult, but he might surprise us all and make his way all the way in, but not before he meets any teams just above on that Ruins Hill.
Yep. Yeah, only time will tell, as we can see the teams now continue to make their advances rather further and further towards where this next phase could potentially be taking us. We do have a nice little bit of a congestion happening in towards that more centered position, as the teams are, playing their usual kind of approach, moving into center zone or rather close towards that in anticipation of the zone shift. As we can see, the players there also from GRIMMCITY not opting out of Primorsk just yet, which is a good decision because we can see that zone now taking a bit of a swing towards the western side. So this means that they don't have that much ground to cover. But what's also going to be interesting is to see what the players from Temper and the HFKs are going to be doing over on towards that western side, as they both of them find themselves in pretty close proximity.
Yeah, they do. And I think they chose the most comfortable side on the, like basically the surf region. On the northern and southern side or western side of that ridge. So that's a place that they are all too comfortable with, as there might be some congestion happening in the center or just breaches of the center with the Limbo team Godyear on the outside. As you can see, that action start coming in right now with multiple teams coming in.
Oh, I mean, this is that cram session, right? Everybody's just going to be trying to find themselves into a good position here. We do see the players now from, KURD 12, MENA, looking to push on through. We got Ness now just trying to ride it on the edge. They're coming in with a bit of an approach. We got a few of those utils also now starting to pop off. EFX on the opposing side. Blackjack right behind them. So this could be a very challenging play as Mercury comes lasering through, hitting that one home. Out comes the nade to close it off to lock in that confirmation. And now it is going to be the players here from KURD 12 down to only 2 remaining hopefuls, with quite a few other players still held up in the vicinity.
That's right. So, well, they're held up. It's a good position. They have cover. All they need to do is play it nice and sweet as anyone comes in. So it's good to keep your ear to the ground, which is going to happen now. We have Lizardo being taken out and extinguished by a COBRA member. A nice quick finish, had shelter, but didn't do the clutch game as expected.
Yeah, I mean, a beautiful play coming in there from the players of COBRA. Really finding a great vantage point to come in from, just showing that aggression and a beautiful rush and all kind of approach. But now, as we look on towards center zone, you can see the players there from Blackjack also finding themselves in a little bit of a less favorable kind of setup, right? We got the players from, I believe that's RILA Insider, also now looking for a potential play to be making here. But this is where things are going to get super contentious, right? Blackjack, out in the open. They do have the terrain to play off of, but still they need to be super careful not to overextend themselves and kind of overpeak these ridge lines, as they've got a team situated towards that southwestern side, as well as another team up on towards the northeast. So a very challenging kind of position they find themselves in.
Yeah, but I think it's a position that they're all too comfortable with. They like the pressure to be cooked, and they like it high enough. So they position themselves as a 1-2-3 basis. So you have guys watching over the ridge line. Reverb is in the open, but not exactly as the Isamite. But this is exactly the kind of position they like finding themselves in. As INS is on the outside, they have to come in. So it's more about reading the zone, which will not put them under blue zone pressure.
Yeah,
that's what they don't want.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how this kind of all plays out for them. And of course, speaking about playing out, it is going to be the players here from Limbo, also just up in the radar tower here, making their way on through. We do see the players there from Void off in the distance, rotating up towards the zone as well. A nice little shift coming in here as they are just able to sneak their way on through. And with that, looking to maybe lock in a good position a little bit further down. Of course, the players there from Black Cobra also positioned up ahead of them as well. So a very trying kind of rotation coming through here for Void now, as they definitely need to try and avoid as many of these engagements as they can before they are able to lock in a decent angle.
Yeah, so avoid not really on their name to avoid any action. They will go head on with whatever team they come and meet face to face. As Ahmad or Amjad just gets sent down, Vlam is the only one that's going to stick around. I don't know if he'll be able to get it with Lobby. Yeah. I'm trying to heal himself, but this isn't the optimal spot to find yourself in. You'll be sending messages. And look at that. Vlam in the open. Can take advantage using our Umpi, but this time gets taken down on the other side by, and Garrix also gets taken down at the same time. So Cobra playing a nice game, doing an aggressive push, and taking full advantage.
Yeah, a very, very commendable play coming through there from Cobra as they are just looking to leverage their position they have. And with that, you know, just hone in a few of those elims along the way. But we do see several players now just trying to get themselves into a good position with Unfathomed now getting taken right on down. It is now 1v Lobby, the last hopeful for the team here. Void also coming in with a very similar kind of trajectory here, looking to find that position to call home, at least for now, moving in towards this fourth phase. We can see the players there from Blackjack, also now on the EFX side, starting to come in with a few hits. Up comes 1v Lobby, looking for that opening, pulling up right into well, the Lion's Den, if you could go that far. So you can see it is going to be quite a challenging position to play from. Even the players here from RILA Insider also just huddled down in their compounds. Not going to be looking for super exposed play. We got Marley now just raining on down, picking up that trade on towards Zane, with Phoenix and the rest of the team there from Blackjack now just trying to play the terrain once again.
That's right. So Marley taking full advantage of the gap that he can find. He has multiple teams to deal with and take advantage as he does, as we witness right now, but not getting away with it. We have another player just on the outside. He's down, but I'm sure they'll be able to make it. Is the BJE squad. No use is also, and this is where things are going to get tense, DK. Guys are going to have to move in, and this compound with Marley being open, using the M4, just the old guys at bay.
Well, yeah, speaking about holding at bay, it is going to be Psycho and Black Cobra now trying to push in on that northern side with Slash's vehicle just starting to smoke up. Several hits already being put into that, but they're going to try and use that now to push up onto alongside the players here from Psychos. We can see Slash trying to put up that front line aggressive push here, but a great shot coming through. As we can see, the hits now starting to come in one after the other. KURD 12 also swinging on in, and it is going to be the end of the road as Ra comes in to find that final hit up on the hillside.
Right.
We do see the players there from G3 hungry for kills, holding their position, trying to find a good approach to come in from. We got a Yoshi and the rest of the crew now just riding the edge of the blue. But this is where things are going to get super challenging once again, right? 8 teams remaining. It is down to 25 players. And definitely not a lot of real estate for these teams really to make much use of.
Yeah, that's right. So it will be basically an open standing here. So it will make every one of the members vulnerable. As G3 thought they found themselves in a better place right now, but as the blue zone is going to have to push them a little bit more south and central, making things a little bit open for them. I saw KURD 12 coming in there again into the kill. I don't know where he is or where he's hiding away, but taking full advantage, unless he's sent back to the lobby already.
Well, that's definitely a potential play to come in, but of course we do see the plays here also now from EFX now just trying to piece it all back together. Once again, we see Pyro now just trying to avoid the carnage that could be finding its way on down towards them. But look at that, Cobra pushing up from the one side, Blackjack on the opposite end. And then, of course, we also see the players coming in there from G3 and G3 fighting it out on towards the very edge of the zone. So we're going to try and put both of those engagements up on the screen. So you can see Buden now on the one side, Pyro trying to smoke it up, trying to huddle down. But there we go. It is going to be Buden now just lasering down on towards The other G3 team,
Other
the Hungry
G3.
for Elam's team, off in the distance there is going to be Ash and the rest of the squad. Now just trying to smoke it up, looking to see if they can secure enough coverage before potentially opting for a rotation back in towards the zone.
Yeah, that's right. So this is the derby that we want to see. G3 going head-to-head with the other G3 squad. 8-4K, as Strange OP is in the open. Buden holding cover and not making it easy for them to go anywhere. So this is almost like that Manchester City and Manchester United going together, seeing who's the best in the Erangel battle.
Yeah, and this is where you say, man, you can't script these things as the teams continue now to push on forward. Up comes Yoshi in front of Buden. The shot's now lasering in. It is going to be Yoshi to get traded on down. Pyro still looking to push on forward, but look at the sprays coming through. Buden picking up yet another one. Pyro out of the blue, but up comes Ash. Oh, and they now turn to Ash as the hits come in, and off they go right back towards the lobby. Pyro now also getting caught out in the open as the shots continue to fly in one after the other. Mercury still trying to catch that break, trying to get up in towards the zone. We're going to have Ra now just hammering those utilities down on towards the players there from Blackjack. And this is once again an opportunity as Mercury peeks over the ridge with that spots a great angle. Now tries to reach on through, but it's not going to be enough as it is 1v lobby to close it up.
Yeah, as he goes down, trying to take as many people down with him, and he does, but unfortunately gets sent back to the lobby. But lobby holding it down as we have BJE and still a member from Void being lobby on the outside. Grim looks like a full squad as well. BJE holding the fort with MG down momentarily.
Oh, with a very contentious play coming through here once again. It is going to be Blackjack now, trying to push in from that northern position, trying to rotate along the eastern side. But of course, we see even more rotations now starting to come on through. The players here from G3 Tempo are going to be pushing in straight up in towards the north, looking to kind of lock in this position. They are going toe-to-toe with the players here from GRIMMCITY, but GRIMMCITY find themselves in a bit of an exchange now with Blackjack. As we can see, Phoenix now just reaching across the ridge, finding those heads up in towards Matty. And with that, it is a little bit of a bumpy ride as GRIMMCITY now are down to only one. It is going to be Lockjaw, just gathering a little bit of information here as the smokes now get sent on down. But look at Flacco now looking to just nail these hits home, putting the pressure on the players here from RILA Insider.
Yeah, that's right. So I don't know if this was strategy from Flacco and his other team member, Buden, because in the beginning stage of the game, they were kind of out of it. But look, we got Flacco and Buden. We said they can't hold the fort. It doesn't matter. They can put that punishing game in, and they're doing exactly that. GRIMMCITY CIA still in Langley, doing a little bit of surveillance and smoking himself out there, making sure he's still safe. We have BJE, we have INS Coco and Trip still being out there, making things a little difficult. Look at this. Trying to smoke his way and cook this pineapple so he can get Buden. I don't know if he'll get it. Soon to tell. Good nade. No, just misses it as the CIA. Missing out on some training there. It was good CIA. No, but we have Flacco doing an aggressive rotation, trying to end him as a little message was sent to his teammate Buden on the outside. Flacco trying to get CIA.
Yeah, CIA turns into see you later. As we did see Flacco now just getting absolutely devoured there. Buden now also getting caught up, and it is going to be Grim now just trying to evade those flames, feeling a little bit of the pressure, just nipping at their heels. We got Zayd looking to push on through Phoenix. Now trying to see if they can laser in a few of those hits. Up comes the players from RILA Insider looking to rotate along that western side. CIA lying in wait. Up comes Strip and down they go. End of the road as we now have a double whammy on screen. Let's make it back down to one. Blackjack. Ooh, in a very contentious position. Still have all four players in. And of course, the same can be said for the players on that RILA Insider team as well. But it's now up to those ridges being played as we can see. Both teams now just opting for a little bit of a position to come through here. Oh, and it is going to be Blackjack to find those final hits and close it off. Pick up that winner chicken dinner. And with that, double digits, 10 Elams getting traded off there by Blackjack.
Yeah, what a nail-biting finish there with BJE, pulling their dominance through, choosing the zone nice and making it difficult for the Insider to do any push. But there they go. With a 10 finish, hitting that double figures, and the winner chicken dinner.
Yeah, a very well-deserved victory coming through there from Blackjack. I mean, they really stepped it up in not only this match, but the previous one as well. But of course,
Second
now we got to
game.
look to see where the rest of the teams find themselves. We can see RILA Insider up in second position with 3 elims. We have the players there from GRIMMCITY up in third. We got the G3 Temper team taking fourth place with those 5 elims. We got Void in fifth, coming in with 3. Then, of course, a little bit further down, we've got the players from EFX with 4. But look at this, Black Cobra coming in with 11 eliminations to their name, taking that 7th position. So definitely capitalizing on the aggression there. Unfortunately, the placement points not working out, too favorably for them. But at least we know, moving into this match, they were situated on that first page. So curious to see how that is going to be reflective on towards our overall rankings. Of course, the players from the HFKs taking that 8th place. We got KURD 12th, the MENA team up in 9th. Of course, Psycho taking that 10th position with their 4 elims. We got METAFORCE in 11th. And then, of course, we got Limbo and Endgame taking that 12th and 13th position. That's the only teams we had. Only 13 teams playing. Of course, our stars of the match are going to be none other than Blackjack across the board, right? Phoenix, Zane, and Phoenix picking up the MVP, Best Companion, and the final blow being dealt. So great play coming in there from Blackjack and a really deserving chicken dinner.
That's right. What a first class gameplay with BJE taking the entire row, going all out, getting the MVP as Phoenix and BJE Zane being the companion. It just shows the synergy in the team, making things remarkable to do a nail-biting finish here on game number 4.
Yeah, a very, very nail-biting finish indeed. But of course, as we know, that then brings us to the end of our matches here for today. So that's not the end of the broadcast, because we still have to get into the final standings to see which will be our final 3 teams to advance forward in it towards the Continental Finals, as well as pick up that extra prize money for their performances here today. Now, Dale, this is where I want to ask you, was there any particular map that, in your opinion, was kind of your more preferred performances coming through from these teams?
Well, I have to say that Miramar is still my map, right? I saw some guys shine pretty well. But I'm going to leave that one aside. We saw Sanok, and this is weird, made things a little bit different, where guys that weren't showed nicely in game number 1 or 2, they kind of pulled themselves back to make that log a little bit more contentious. And, like I say, putting them way up into that first page, exactly where they find themselves. Because look what happened in game number 4. We get 2 maps of Erangel, right? So it gets played twice, and this is where you can take advantage if it wasn't done in game number 1. And that's exactly what these guys did tonight. So well done to everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, I'm also, more in favor of Miramar in general, but I have to say that all things aside, Sanok was a really satisfying play, right? Because normally we do see teams being in a position where they can delay that fast play, that fast pace also coming through on Sanok. But this time around, it was a little bit more balanced, right? We did see the teams acting aggressive when the need was there, but also, playing a little bit more strategic when they had the opportunity to do so. And one thing that we saw that is not too kind of too general, right, on Sanok is the amount of teams actually being in the zone at the end, right?
Oh, yeah.
Usually we have a few players scattered out in the blue zone, but moving into this Sanok match, right, we actually had all 3 our remaining teams positioned within that playable area. So it was really good to see that kind of dynamic come through from the teams, ensuring that they are able to stay ahead of that blue zone, stay ahead of the closure, and that also then results in a lot more action-packed kind of gameplay coming through as well.
There we go. But I think the key was the balance in the game. So I think that is where guys were in that stage where they're choosing placement over eliminations. We saw nice tactics coming in there. Not many guys using those hill battles and ridge battles. They're playing it more with in-game compound area. So bringing in that CQB, but not too risky. It came out very nice and it left a good taste in my mouth. Sanok, it was really impressive. And it gave advantage for the other teams to come out and play.
Yeah, and I mean, we had a very, very satisfying, kind of play coming in across the board on all the maps that we've had so far, right? Yeah. We've had our opportunity, our selection of Erangel and Miramar, as well as Sanok, of course, as we've seen. But looking at the performances, I mean, G3 coming in with a super aggressive start on that very, very first match, right? Picking up 18 eliminations alongside the winner chicken dinner, and that's the kind of G3 that we know, right? We've seen them do that in the past, and that's a very satisfying point for them to kind of reach once again. We also know that they are competing in the Mzansi. We did see them in the PMPL, and a few of these other teams are also playing not only in Mzansi, but I'm hoping to see a few of them who are not in Mzansi to potentially be participating in the Nkosi season as well. Also looking to see, where we could see more of these teams, making their way through PMCO, PMNC, making it all the way up in towards the PMPL and beyond, right? Because there's no limit really as to where these teams can reach. It all comes down to how far they're willing to push themselves, and the only limit is themselves, right? They are the only people in charge of what kind of heights they'll be able to achieve. So very excited to see what the teams will have in store for us. But of course, our next stop rather is going to be once we've wrapped up all the regional finals, to see which teams will then be fighting it out in the continental finals, and who will be those teams to step up to claim the title as the victors of the continental region.
Yeah, so things are nice and exciting, man. I can't wait to see it. I don't know if you have the log hit on your side, but I can say that in today's match, G3 basically bought their ticket when it came to game number 1, so they took full advantage. And look, yes, the only limit is oneself, and I think the guys need to spread them out in any one of the competitions and layouts that is available to them. That's how you get your name out there, and that's how you get that little bit of change as well for the rest of your squad going forward.
Well, speaking about a little bit of change, right? I don't have any change just yet. So that was not a segue, really. But either way, right, we are going to be hopping into the standings before this last match, just to give everyone a bit of an idea as to what the teams were bringing in just those first 3 matches. And already we see G3 finishing on those 62 points after 3 matches, right? But if we look back at what we saw coming through from the other regions' performances as well, things look quite interesting here, because we know in the previous day of play, when we had the northern region, for instance, the central region, we had, after 3 matches, the highest points garnered was 48, right? So G3 already well ahead of what we've been seeing coming through from one of the other regions. So that was the central region. And then, of course, as we go a little bit further back, looking at what we had coming through on the northern region, again, after 3 games, the highest points reached was 52. So again, great improvement there. So I'm really keen to see all these regions kind of meeting each other, right? And we know, yes, it's not BMPL, it's not BMCO, it's none of these big official events, but it's still quite interesting to see how the teams are comparing against each other, not only here, but also when they meet out on Mzansi and Nkosi as well.
Yeah, so that would be a good showing for themselves, but I think these guys deserve to be in one of our biggest platforms that we have, PMPL and PMCO. Some of them that does show up in there, but look, we are at this position right now. It makes it nice, and it's a good thing that you brought up the central, the western and the northern battles that just went on. It shows you the difference as in what the night's kind of endings and standings are showing right now. G3 on 62 total in comparison to 50 odd in the second game in the north. Not too bad, not blown out of the park, but it makes things nice and interesting.
Yeah, I was actually just looking through it now, and I did see for the western region, right? After the 3rd match, Slime were actually finding themselves all the way up on towards, 46 points after 3 matches. So this is quite an interesting kind of position to be in. I mean, Slime, I do believe they finished at the top of their log for their region. Yes, they, after 4 matches, found themselves sitting on a collective 64 points in total, where G3, after 3 matches, are sitting on 62. So, it's interesting to look at all these numbers and how they all kind of add up and where they what they amount to. But as we know, right, this doesn't really say much as to what we could be expecting to see moving into those continental finals, as the teams kind of step up on a clean slate. Yes, they've had the opportunity to prove themselves in their respective regional qualifiers or finals, but once they meet each other out in the continental finals, that is where everything is kind of left out onto the field. And now I just got to be careful that I don't update the wrong picture here first. But of course, well, everything has just boiled on in.
Woo.
So we are going to be starting it out on that second page to keep up the suspense,
Yeah,
because
I
why
like it.
not?
Yeah.
So let me quickly just hop onto the second page, just verifying that I do have the right one. In fact, no, it did not update. Come on, please, goodness gracious me. Update, please, sir, please. Probably helps if I save it in the right place, right? But either way,
Yeah.
let's see. This,
The magic words.
yeah, the magic words of
Here we go.
empowerment, right? Okay, so this is still, it still says post game 3. Why does this thing not want to do what I wanted to do? Come on, my good sir, it's just not that difficult. All right, I'm trying to update this, but it does not want to work with me here today. I think there might have been a spelling error.
Ah. Okay. But look, I don't want to
Oh,
go according to
There
the.
we go.
Oh,
There we go. We got
wait,
it. We
what?
got it.
We got it. Let's
Yes.
go.
Right, so looking at it.
Got it.
Oh, there we go. A little bit of that echo coming through as well. But of course, yes. All right, so we got the players there from Void Club finishing on 18 points in total. We got METAFORCE on 13, as well as GRIMMCITY. It's surprising to see them sitting there
Wow.
because I've seen them play much more aggressively in past games. So not quite sure what the kind of reasoning is for that. But you know what? Each to their own. We're not going to argue with anything here at
Yeah.
all whatsoever. But, great performances coming in nonetheless as these teams were able to make their way on through. And now, without any further ado, we're going to be hopping into that first page to see who will be moving through. And it is...
Yeah. Let's go.
There we go.
Switch, baby. Look at that. Look at that. What I expected. We have G3 Temper coming in with the chicken dinner and getting the top spot. BJE getting in there with 65 points in total. RILA Insider getting in there as well on 59 points. EFX just scratching it by the skin of their teeth at 57. But look at all that chickens in a row, man. Look at that kills. The eliminations that has come through tonight is amazing, DK. Even COBRA was surprised after the match that they played.
Yeah.
That they're not in fifth. I'm surprised, but just missing it there.
Yeah, I mean, this was pretty damn close, right? If we look at our top 4 teams there, I mean, EFX just 2 points away. Yes, they were the more aggressive team in comparison with RILA, but RILA were able to find a little bit more consistency with regards to those placement points. So, a very well-deserved play coming in. All 4 of our teams picking up those winner chicken dinners, sitting right there in the top 4 positions. But sadly, only the top 3 teams will be advancing through into the continental final. So, big ups going out to G3 Temper, Blackjack, and RILA Insider. It's good to see the team stepping up. But of course, our honorable mentions going out there to Team EFX, as well as G3 HFK, or Hungry for Kills. Still a very interesting position, as we can see. Great consistency being shown there with regards to placement. Now they're just going to add in the aggression that Black Cobra was showing. And, they could be quite a formidable team.
No, they will definitely be a formidable team. They normally find themselves within placement, or at least close to that, so that's where they get their points. But now, maybe just a little bit more aggression, maybe some IGL communication, with the in-game leader. Try and get that elimination so they can push them up a little higher. They'll be in contention, especially with teams like EFX and Black Cobra on their tail.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well done, which way. I don't know where I was going with that one. I caught myself saying, yeah, and then I was like, oh, wait, I was talking. Never mind that then. But yeah, I got to say, again, there I go, right? But the teams really bring in some satisfactory performances here today, so I don't think there's anything that anyone can really be upset about. Whatever has happened has happened. That's kind of the way the cookie crumbles. But again, some well-deserved victories coming into our 4 teams, picking up those winner chicken dinners, and it's been a very contentious play across the board. So excited to see what's going to be happening in those continental finals, and also looking forward to seeing how these teams are going to be repping themselves in the Mzansi League as well. For those that are participating there, quite a bit of excitement there. So if you haven't seen it just yet, Mzansi currently underway. It is going to be in Corsi pretty soon, so be sure to go check out any of the events so you can find those registrations. Get yourself in and step up onto the competitive scene. But of course, with that, we are going to be ending in here at least for tonight. We'll be back on Friday in 2 days from now, moving into our final region, which is going to be the Eastern region. So we've concluded West, North, Central, South. And all we got to do is finish up that Eastern region. So be sure to join in, come support your teams. And of course, well, you'll aid us in seeing who will be the next 3 teams to move through in towards those regional finals. If you haven't figured it out by now, I don't like closings. But it happens, right? It's my job. I have to do it. So whatever. If I mumble too much, c'est la vie, no? But either which way, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'm going to stop it right here. Thank you to Dale as well. You are a legend as always. And of course, we look forward to seeing you all of you back in the next broadcast. So have a great evening, guys. Whatever. I'm going to keep
Thanks for joining.